time to get going, and it always creates a clone, like two streams for some reason. One that's
Mm.
just dead and never linked up to. I'll have to do more research some other time.
Okay, yeah, I see it too.
What do
You
you
see
think?
it on YouTube?
YouTube, yeah.
Crazy. It
Okay,
don't
now I
Should
have
I?
any
see it.
update.
I
Yeah.
refreshed. I only see one.
Yeah, and it's actually live. Yeah, the other one, it did create another one that was useless. It just takes a million years. It is so weird.
Okay, I see myself on Twitch as well.
Sweet. All right.
My avatar is not visible on the screen.
Still, huh? That's
That's true.
interesting.
It's not.
That I have no control over it on my end. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. I could try to fix it. Hold on. Let's see where. Okay, that's supposed to be you. So I just need to update its URL. For some reason, it got broken. So I just need to go back to Video Ninja. If I can manage to find that tab. There we go. And then copy solo view link. All right, yeah, and that actually meant that there's a good chance no one could hear you, Corey, until now. But now, theoretically, people can hear you if you say something. Try saying something, Corey.
Testing. Yeah, I listened to YouTube for a second, and my audio was there. So,
Oh, that's interesting.
yep.
Okay. Let's see. Hopefully, there's no echo going on. No chats yet, so I guess no one's watching yet. I'll quickly switch over to the other scenes to see if they're all working. Yep, okay. I'm going to use that scene to show you guys something. Accidentally make myself full screen. There we go. All right. So for now, I'm actually going to work on this a little bit more. I don't know if you guys could tell from last time, but I did actually use another layer and figure out a good spacing that was fairly tile optimal for these light fixtures. The key was to find a spacing that looked good and allowed me to have this one here over the solid brown wall twice. And then this one shares a few tiles that are not in a wall. But I didn't finish cleaning everything up, so just work on cleaning this up a little bit and we can chat. But I'll move on to other things. There's a pretty cool update that I could give you guys and show you guys live what I've been working on regarding Steam Deck. I'll use my drawing table camera for that in a little bit.
All right.
And if anyone is watching and I just don't know it yet, then there's a decent chance that Jared from VDO Ninja will pop by this stream. Oh,
Jared
I
from
did the.
Video Ninja.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Jared from. Yeah, I'm tired still
Project
sleep
something.
deprived. Projects COE, I believe is what it is, but I always mix
Yeah.
up letters.
No one's really watching us just yet. I see one
Yeah,
person on Twitch, which I presume is myself,
right.
and two watching on YouTube,
Which
and
is
one
probably
is
me.
me.
Yeah, yeah,
One is
exactly.
me. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're watching ourselves.
Yeah.
Going for that grungy dither
Yeah, the vertical
texture. Yeah.
vertical dither, which is related to that little dissertation I gave in the last stream on how dithering there's a lot of different dither textures you can use, and dithering doesn't just kind of quote unquote smooth out a gradient, it adds texture even on a blurry CRT. So
Right.
ideally you decide the type of dither you use based on the texture that you would like to show up, if any texture does show up, or when you very specifically want texture to show up. So one interesting thing you could see here, when I was roughing this in, I just used a really rough, like quintessential checkerboard dither here between these two colors.
Mhm.
But I really don't like that. I'm trying to avoid like obvious brute force checkerboard dithering that's very visible as much as possible in Metro Siege. But that's mostly our philosophy for all of our art and pixel art and games. I think between the two of us, Corey,
Mhm.
like if you're going to dither, make it actually enhance the graphics instead of be a compromise. And the
Yeah,
nice
for
thing
like
is,
a wood
yeah,
grain, you might use some longer lines, a
exactly.
little bit like horizontal on the floor.
Exactly, like what I did here, but vertically. But the other option is, because this is the Amiga version and very few of the colors in the 16 color palette are used down here, and there are some that can be safely copper color changed if they're not used anywhere else. So I can actually introduce an intermediate color. So I started doing that down here to kind of set it up so this color will become this color down here on the floor. So that'll allow me to get much nicer lighting and not have this garish checkerboard dither, which would look fine on a blurry CRT monitor, but this will look good regardless of what, if you're looking at on a modern monitor or a
Hmm.
CRT TV or monitor. So yeah, for now I'm just cleaning things up a bit. But once we get bored of this, I can switch over and show you guys the cool progress I've made on Steam Deck support, which is making it's a ton of work. Like, I say fast progress, but it's been many, many hours over the last several days. Um, a lot of iterative testing and trying different things.
So I guess this is Amiga, but you're approaching it a little bit with the mindset of preparing for converting to other things.
Yeah, like
Maybe a
what?
little more now than you were before, or something.
Yeah, I mean the way I treat the Amiga graphics for sure on Metro Siege is that'll be the good foundation. It's forced to use the least amount of unique color indices in a given spot, and the fewest tiles out of the different versions. So it's like it's the foundation basically, right?
Yeah.
So any version would be painted over and more unique tiles. Oh, I just found a moment where I
Yeah, I
can.
agree with that. I'm doing that similarly with Metal Mac.
Yep,
Mega Drive is kind of the foundation,
yep,
and then
exactly.
enhancement beyond that is a little easier to do.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be a really interesting situation with Metro Siege if and when we do manage to do a Mega Drive version of Metro Siege. By then, I'll be able to go both ways with the art assets. I'll have the Neo Geo assets and I'll have the Amiga assets. So, depending on what it is, it might be easier for me to start with Amiga and enhance upward, or to, you know what I mean, start with the Neo Geo and reduce it downward. Because, like, Mega Drive is, like, interestingly situated kind of in between the two power
Right.
wise
Yeah.
or color wise, but like it can display more colors in any specific. Like you have more control over where you're putting specific colors on the Mega Drive than Amiga, but you have
Yeah,
less
you'll
color
have
fidelity.
right.
Yeah,
You'll have way better color fidelity across the board out of the gate, I guess.
yeah, exactly. Like the Amiga colors for any one thing won't have to change as much when porting to the Neo Geo. but for the Mega Drive, as you well know, you did such a great job with the Mega Drive version of Damon Claw. But you know that much lower color fidelity takes some wrestling with sometimes, or tweaking larger chunks. Like sometimes you can't just make a color index the color you want, so you have to tweak the two others on either side of that gradient you're
Right.
trying to create to
Yeah, yeah.
find what does look good within those limitations. It's a so yep, there you go. There's a nicely textured just two repeating tiles, and it looks pretty natural, and it gives it an interesting texture. And yep, I just need to same thing here. Grab this. In fact, I might as well do pick replace, or pick place it's called. And plop that down. In fact, now that I'm sure that those lamps are where they want them, I can also literally bake that level down so I can get a realistic tile count. So merge down, and then sync, and then tile maps optimize. 355. Yeah, I did quite a bit of shifting stuff around to be more tile efficient, and while I was cleaning, and there's more things I can do, but it's definitely taking shape. And yeah, like that's what I'm gonna do with this is I'm not gonna bother adding more stuff to the shelves or anything at this point. I just want to get this level looking very representative and clean of how it's going to look, and then get the enemies in there with all of their hey Simone, I'm assuming, could be Simon, I think Simone. um Thanks for showing up again, and let us know if there end up being any echoes or any volume levels that aren't good, or how annoying that cough was. I'll have to get used to muting my microphone when I do such things. I need like a panic mute button. Where is a real obvious mute button? It's really not.
Do you remember I showed you guys the Nintendo themed keyboard I got a while ago?
Which keyboard?
It's Nintendo, like NES 8-bit Nintendo themed.
Oh, I don't remember you showing me that. I know
I think
you've
it's
got
an
a
8-bit
Nintendo cap.
8-bit do.
Yeah, yeah, they make good stuff. I don't own anything
It
of
came
theirs, but
with like buttons that you could connect to the keyboard.
hey, Boss Hog, by the way, welcome.
Yeah,
I
welcome,
haven't
guys.
heard that in decades. Hopefully, I did a decent job with the. Which character was that?
Boss Hog from Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know, but was it he that went? I think it was his
Yes, it was.
henchman. Oh, it
No,
was
it was
that was
him.
Boss Hog. Okay,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was him.
his henchman made a different stupid sound.
that I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
Most of what I
Roscoe.
remember was Daisy from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
show.
For some reason, we all remember
The
Daisy
car,
very well.
the guy
Yeah,
sliding over the hood, going through
yeah,
the windows to get in,
yeah.
and Daisy, and Daisy,
At
and
least in
Daisy.
my ears at the moment. Yeah, exactly. For some
When
reason,
there
in
was
my
actually
ears, oh,
hood to slide on, for a car.
yeah.
Now you hardly have it, but yeah.
In my ears, Chris and Corey are loud. Let me know, guys, if that's true. If they're a lot louder than I am or something.
Oh, I'm loud in real life too. I might have been.
Just
I can
speaking
lower
loudly.
myself a bit.
Don't get him going about Daisy Duke or Daisy Dukes
Uh,
plural. All right, let's see. Okay, so that's all good. I'm gonna make this look better too. And then after I do these simple things, I'm going to actually give these complex stairs in fake quasi isometric perspective a shot. That ought to be interesting.
So this will be a case where the stairs are the exit of the map, and the characters
Exactly
might
right.
walk up there.
Yeah, yeah, they'll like walk to the staircase, but
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
not
and then
gonna.
fade. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Leave it to the imagination, because boy, would that be a whole bunch of extra work.
Yeah, not necessary to have them actually walk
does
in.
Yeah,
ProMotion have a feature where it can
exactly.
highlight tiles where there's barely any graphics on them, like to point out
Oh,
for you?
absolutely. It can show you where you have to some degree, I forget how it works, but like tiles that aren't used, it might highlight, or tiles that are duplicates of others. This might be the case here. I'm not sure, but it's got all kinds of amazing features. But I'm not going to use any of the cool optimizing features right now. Um, I just want to get some of this tidying up and texturing done.
We
Yeah,
have
I'm
an
just imagining like a workflow someone could have where they
Yeah.
maybe scan a drawing to start the map.
Yep. Yeah,
Maybe
that
something like
like
that would be useful.
if you do that, the first step you should do though is just look at every, like, move stuff around like I did recently. I moved this entire bookshelf over like probably 5 or 6 tiles to the left and up about 2 tiles, and that freed up a huge amount of tiles. Largely because if you look now, this transition from this like bluish gray wall to this brown wall is perfectly on the tile border, whereas
Yeah,
before it was
tell
like
you were in sync mode.
arbitrarily half and half. What's
But
that?
I saw another. I could tell you were in sync mode because another tile was changing as you updated one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, just promotion, especially for tiles it can't be beat, but also just in general, if you need to make real pixel art that works on real retro systems, it cannot, hands down, cannot be beat. Once you
we
get
have a
used to the workflow. Yep,
we
go ahead,
have a
Corey.
question about Neo Geo art.
Yeah, yeah.
The chat. It says, "With will you be doing fully animated frames for the Neo Geo since the work
Yeah.
is being done anyway?"
Yep.
And let's see, is there any thought to detecting if the Amiga is being run on has more RAM and then loading those in?
Oh, now
So
that's
maybe
an
you can
interesting
explain a little
question.
bit
Yeah.
about what your process might be
So
for
Yeah.
the
going
floppy
from
disk
Amiga to
version
Neo Geo. Yeah.
couldn't do that,
Right,
but maybe
exactly. So
CD-ROM
the
if you're willing to have different editions.
right, and that's the thing, is I already spoke with Alex, and what he wants to do is for the Amiga stay focused on making the most awesome OCS ECS version possible right now. And then after we finish these 3 versions of Metro Siege, there's very high likelihood, especially if we manage to build up a big following and get good support, then we might actually be able to take a second pass and do like an Amiga Ultimate Metro Siege version that can actually much better, maybe even make it leverage AGA and faster processors and more memory, in which case we could almost directly just use the full Neo Geo art for it. So all of that is definitely stuff we would love to do, and it's just a matter of time and then what the circumstances are. Like obviously, if somehow Metro Siege becomes a dud and not enough people care about it anymore, once we get out the Neo Geo version, the modern version, and the Amiga version, if there aren't enough Amigans interested in an enhanced version, then it wouldn't make sense to invest that still pretty large amount of work for that. But it's definitely a possibility, and again, Alex Brown is a lifelong Amigan, as am I. So if we can make it work, then there's very high odds we will do so. So it's just a matter of time. I may have mentioned this too before, but I really like the idea of two like modern Amiga collector, like super easy plug and play devices came out in the last several years. The first was the A500 Mini, and the second was the A1200, which is now officially an Amiga A1200, which is cool. The Amiga community license owners are finally getting their acts together, and but what was I saying? Yeah, yeah. So both of those systems actually can emulate a pretty powerful beefed up classic Amiga. So what I'm thinking might be cool is to figure out the common denominator between the two. Like what is the most powerful beefed up classic Amiga that both the A1200 can emulate and the A500 Mini, and then maybe target our enhanced Amiga versions of games to work within that thing that would work well on both of those systems. I hope that makes sense. Because that's like that would be like a type of enhanced classic Amiga that a lot of actual Amiga hardware owners would actually have an Amiga that's that powered up. So it would serve both actual physical Amiga collectors to a decent degree, and also it would just be like, what if Amiga made arcade cabinets out of Amigas that were powered up with readily available stuff by that point, like, faster processors and fast RAM, that kind of thing. And probably, once again, AGA support. Uh, is a fight comparable to Bambi versus Godzilla, though, the Neo Geo being Godzilla? Uh,
Yeah, above that,
yeah, yeah.
someone said we can't let the Neo Geo win
Right, right,
versus
right.
Amiga. I guess
Yeah.
system rivalry.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, a part of that really is just the realities of it is incredibly hard to survive, let alone justify, like literally survive making games for Amiga. Like, you're not even going to come close to making half of a minimum wage when all is said and done with the amount of sales you're going to sell to the Amiga community for a game. And if you make an Amiga version of a game, there's not even the slightest guarantee that you're going to sell a lot of copies to anyone else, even if you put it on Steam or anything else, unless you build up a big fan base and a lot of just visibility and a lot of what do you call it, like hype for the game, regardless of it being an Amiga game. So um, that's the big thing, right? It takes so much more work to make a game very competitive with even a Mega Drive game, let alone Neo Geo game on the Amiga. You have to do so much more hardware banging and tricks. The artist has to know how to work dealing with crazy things where like you have to create assets that look incredibly bizarre until all the tricks and copper color changes are done to it and all of that, which is just a complete non-issue on the Mega Drive or the Neo Geo. And then just the level of optimizing is an enormous amount of work. 030 plus audience is big enough to be market worthy. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, there's no sensible way. It's not done as a prudent business venture to make an Amiga game. You kind of have to be an Amiga nut, basically. I say that in a loving way because I'm an Amiga nut myself too, but it's tricky, right? Like if you are watching and you're an Amigan and you want like really high quality Amiga games to continue being made, the more we can, like, obviously on our end, we're going to do everything we can to make Metro Siege as awesome as we can, and Aeon's Legend after that. We're going to be working with Eric Holgan on that project. And we're going to make that as awesome as we can, and do as best we can with outreach to the Amiga community. But the only thing that's going to keep people making games on Amiga, especially with the enormous amount of extra work, would be that it makes any sense. It can't be a loss, basically. And every hour you spend working on an Amiga game for the equivalent money of literally probably a teaspoon, a teaspoon of rice, you could have spent that hour making decent money using your same skill set, just doing a day job or something.
yeah,
Or,
I mean,
yeah,
like in a the best way to put it is like it's a user base. It's like how many people have Amigas out there, how many
it,
people of those are willing to buy new games for it. It's a
exactly.
numbers game at that point. Um,
Yep,
so I guess you could also say getting more people interested in owning Amigas or the newer
yep.
versions of Amigas.
Exactly.
Especially I don't know, younger generations. Because you don't want it to just age out after a certain point. I don't want that for any of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Retro games in
exactly.
general, or pixel art, or any of that. So that
It'll
would be
be
my
interesting.
my own take. I don't know how to
Yep.
do that because
Yeah, yeah.
myself
Well,
exactly.
that's why I think Chris wants he has something you want to say,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Chris.
was going to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how many people buy that new A1200, which I
yeah,
heard
yeah.
got official Amiga
Yep, exactly.
name use because of the recent resolution of the
Yep.
lawsuits.
Yeah,
Be
I
interesting to see
pre-ordered
how many
one.
people get that and actually buy new games.
Right, like that's the combination. So like that's the problem. Like the Amiga community, there's a lot of dormant Amigans out there, right? So there are certain Facebook groups, last I knew that, have in excess of like 20,000 members in the Amiga fan Facebook group, for example. But a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of those Amigans have any interest in new games made for Amiga because they have the nostalgia for specific old games that they already own. Either they just emulate or they own an Amiga and they're perfectly happy. Oh yeah, Simon. Okay, I can read your name as Simon. Great, thank you for clarifying that. You may have already before, but I saw it this time, so we'll all remember that. Like Simon the
Think of the
Sorcerer,
Castlevania
or Simon
character.
the Sorcerer, since he's a fellow Amigan. That's what came to my mind. What makes you think we are wizards, like? Uh, but what was I saying? Yeah, so like that's the tricky thing is what I want to try to do is make really great looking Amiga games that run that are super competitive to even Neo Geo and can run on the A500 Mini and the A1200 because we know for sure that people that were Amiga fans bought those systems to for what it
Was
was great
the
success. Both of them sold very well.
I was gonna ask for the
Yep.
A500 Mini, if I recall,
Yep.
that was more like a gaming kind of setup,
Absolutely.
right? Like
Yep.
that's what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
fake.
what I was gonna.
It's tiny, like all the other minis. Like the A500 had the computer itself was the keyboard. So when you make a
Right,
mini version of that, you have a tiny keyboard, and the keys don't even work. They're fake.
right.
But you can plug in a keyboard. You can. It comes with a mouse. You can plug in other game pads and things like that to it. You can even there's a way to run Workbench on it, like their version of like Windows, basically the Amiga version of
I
their
don't think any of
alternative.
us bought
Yeah,
any of the
yeah.
mini consoles, did we?
Nope. Eric Hogan has an A500 Mini, so he tested getting Scorpion Engine games running on it, which he succeeded in doing. But I don't own any Mini. I do own a Retron 5, which is pretty cool. That can run Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, 8-bit Nintendo.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, yeah. But no,
But
I
I never
don't own
got
it.
a mini because I
I
have the
did,
real
yeah.
consoles for the most part.
But I did order a an A1200, so I look forward to getting that.
Like, I
I'll
wouldn't
actually
want an
make
A500
yeah
mini because I have three
yeah
A500s.
real
So,
A500. Yeah, it would be
yeah.
yeah. I'm sure I'll end up getting one just so I can test my theory because, like I said, like Alex Brown and I, we wanted to, as just Amigans, regardless of any kind of financial sense, we wanted to prove what could be done on a classic Amiga with like 1 meg of RAM for Metro Siege and like Damon Claw, we're almost certainly going to target stock AGA Amiga, especially CD32 for the Amiga version of Damon Claw. But after that point, I personally am going to be less interested in putting in the enormous amount of extra work to make it run on a stock Amiga. And we're just going to be designing great retro games, and we're almost always going to also target Neo Geo and or Mega Drive. So it makes more sense if we can like if there's a nice Amiga version we could make that's way less work, and where it makes a version that is super competitive visually, and obviously audio is not much of a challenge for the Amiga, but especially in the visual sense and frame rate sense, if it's way more competitive with Neo Geo and Mega Drive, then that's also a very great looking other version that we can sell up on Steam and Twitch, right? As like a DLC. Like maybe we make the Neo Geo version first, but then later on, the people that bought that see, oh, look, I can spend an extra few bucks and get this other version too. That makes it less of a financial risk. Whereas if we're only selling to Amigans, so anyway, to me, that's the strategy I think I want to pursue trying while still making some Amiga games is like, what's the common denominator between the A500 Mini and the A1200 power wise? So which would be pretty darn powerful. It would be able to make games that look very competitive, in some ways better than Neo Geo, and in some ways not as good, but very competitive. Way more competitive than, you know, an A500 with a meg of memory like we're doing for Metro Siege. And back to the point of the person that asked, that would be a version where we could just take the full Neo Geo character animation sets and just use them directly. And if it's AGA support, then in some ways it could look better than Neo Geo because sky gradients and color fidelity is through the roof. That's got a color palette of 16 point whatever million colors. So yeah, it would look very competitive. Plus, we could do the cool trick you can do on Amiga for some translucent effects, which the Neo Geo cannot do. But anyway, for the future, coming up for the Amiga is, we gotta get Metro Siege done, and then eventually, when I am totally wrapped up with the current Damon Claw versions and these current Metro Siege versions, then Aeon's Legend is going to end up back on my docket to some degree. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see what happens. We have to keep our schedules open to what makes the most sense when you never know how things are going to kind of align.
Yeah,
But,
our efforts,
you know,
Chris and I's efforts with Metal Mac, with use of Scorpion Engine and stuff like that, should
yeah.
aid a lot in boosting the earlier dev times of Aeon's Legend and stuff like that.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
learning
absolutely.
quite a lot about it.
Yeah, you guys are not only becoming masters yourselves of like the optimal ways to do things, but Scorpion Engine is evolving and getting ever more. I mean, Eric has always been just really fantastic with that, with just continually enhancing Scorpion Engine.
And to add to that, like
Yeah,
Eric Hogan made Retro Animator, and it is very nicely compatible now with Scorpion Engine. And
oh,
I've been
that's
making
awesome.
good use of it, and kind of in a way relearning it because it had been a while since I'd used it for
Yeah,
Metro Siege stuff. So when I start diving back into Metro Siege characters, like it'll all be right there at my fingertips, ready to
yeah,
go.
absolutely. Speaking of, am I speaking of? I just lost my train of thought. I was just thinking, I'm doing stairs now, so this is a good example. There's a lot of other things that give me a sense of scale, so it's not a giant risk, but I really should pull in one of the characters on a separate layer to put it there to make sure I'm not making like ridiculously sized stair steps. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna
It's
trust myself,
probably yeah, it's probably better if they're smaller than they need to be than larger.
then
You
larger,
just don't want them
exactly
to
right.
be giant. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want the characters to suddenly feel like Lilliputians. Literary reference for the day. Never read the book, by the way. Gulliver's Travels. Let's see. I really should just do this.
Yeah, Simon is suggesting hardware bundles for Amiga games is a good idea since they like to buy the hardware. It's
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely keeping how would I word this? Working towards building those kind of opportunities where we could maybe do things as simple as a bundle where you can get one of those multi-button like CD32 style gamepads for Amiga, the new ones, like bundled with Metro Siege or two of them, or working out a deal with the very people that make the A1200, like, you know, to have a bundle where you get the system and you get Metro Siege with it or whatever. Kind of like that really nice Mega Drive bundle you bought, Chris, that had Streets of Rage 2 in it.
Right.
All right, let's see. Chris doesn't care about Streets of Rage 2. Let's see. Anything
I
else?
noticed that Roguecraft DX Amiga game is on Good Old Games now, coming soon.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, they hit a lot of platforms with that, which is definitely the smart thing to do. And like I said, like even if we let's just say we wanted to make a just a great retro game and we knew that we were going to make most of our money on Steam, like if we build up enough of a fan base and mailing list and all that stuff, then something like that could work where it's like, okay, we're going to develop a retro game. Let's make it using the Amiga hardware, so to speak, but we're just going to use like emulation wrappers to get it on all the other systems. But we could emulate a very powerful, pumped up Amiga with tons of memory and a fast processor. So basically, it would be like making a game for a Neo Geo that could do some translucent effects and stuff. You know what I mean?
right.
And would be no more difficult than working on it for Neo Geo or Amiga. Then that would be possible, and you wouldn't have to care so much about how many Amigans end up buying it because you're just making a game using an authoring system you're already used to, and you're just using that as the kind of like target hardware, but not literally to sell it to that hardware. Just, I hope I'm making sense. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
It's kind of,
it's the other
yeah,
like it's sort of like using the digital store of something like Steam or even other
exactly.
digital stores as the
Yeah,
alternative
right,
buffer of income and stuff like that.
right. So, like,
Aside,
we know,
like if you
yeah,
didn't want to make it for Neo Geo or other systems, but
exactly.
only Amiga, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it
absolutely,
wasn't necessarily for Amiga from the financial standpoint because that would make no
right,
sense. But at that point, it wouldn't matter that we're using, like, if we just wanted to be able to have really beautiful color gradients and not have to worry about color fidelity at all, and we wanted to be able to have tons of frames of animation, then developing it for a super powered Amiga and just putting it out on, yes, for the Amiga, but also, but that's like inconsequential amount of money. But then it's the real target is Switch and Steam and PlayStation and all those other platforms, which definitely can become a possibility if we're able to make ourselves just a popular and respected enough indie game studio. Then no one needs, you know, the bulk of the audience, the bulk of the customer base, they don't have to know or care what an what an Amiga is, nor would they know
right,
what an
yeah.
Amigan is.
Yeah, you have to just build presence and fan base
Yeah,
at that
just
point, even
make,
on those digital
yeah,
stores and stuff.
yeah, like that's the point. Make good games, and they don't have to know or care that it runs on an Amiga or any other classic system. They just need to see it and go, "Wow, that looks fun. That looks nice, creative." You know, obviously, most importantly, fun. And then so this is just going to be flat ground here and then other steps. So I'm going to do this. Sorry, once again, just like the last stream, I just cut myself off mid-sentence to work out what I'm thinking for for this. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually going to transition this. I just did it again while explaining what I did. I'm just gonna make this.
Yeah, I can see. We do apologize for any delays in reading the chats, guys. I think this is stuff that's just maybe partially outside of our control sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on what platform you're using. I guess this is YouTube. Yeah, somebody asked about a Mega Drive Metro Siege. I don't know what you guys are
Wow.
thinking.
Eight
You and Alex are
minutes.
thinking about that.
8 minutes of gap. That is ridiculous. That's crazy.
Yeah, that
I did
that feels like
start the.
strenuous.
I did start the. It's probably because the YouTube chat, not chat. The YouTube stream always starts much later than the Twitch one, no matter what I do, and it always creates two streams. One just ghost abandoned, never connected to stream. So I've got to figure out what's causing that. But anyway, there's probably a drastically, if you want to switch over to Twitch, we're streaming simultaneously on twitch.tv. Um, I think it's literally twitch.tv /bitbeamcanon if you want to give that a shot. If that's the case, Chris, could you try pasting in that link and see if it lets you? You are as far as I
You mean
know,
the Twitch link?
yeah, the direct Twitch URL. See if it
Maybe
lets
that
you
works.
put a URL in the chat. Yeah, it didn't seem to block you. Yeah, because I made you a moderator. Sweet. So keep that in mind, guys. You can put URLs while we're chatting if people are asking about stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
For example, we discussed Metal Mac earlier, so if you want to check out Metal Mac, people, everyone, you can literally go
Yeah,
to
looks like the chat
metalmac.com. Yep.
delay is normal on Twitch. It's the YouTube one
Yeah.
that got way behind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's especially bad this time because I was waiting to see if eventually YouTube would just wake up so I wouldn't accidentally cause or create the second stream. All right. So how do I want to do this? I think it'll look better if I do the rails and the stairs you could see on the side. So I'll actually do this. Make it a little wider. Whoa. That sounds like thunderous. That typing is very loud.
Oh, that
That's
was me.
more.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about
Yeah.
that before. How loud it might be.
Let us know. Like maybe it's just loud
I'll
in my
attempt a
ears.
link too, just to see. Yeah, I can
Sweet.
post links too.
Awesome. Wow, Chris, your how bad is the delay here finally showed up. Or did you
Yeah,
type you typed that on Twitch. Never mind. That was testing Twitch. Yeah.
yeah.
But
The
I
the
just
delay
saw
is something like 5 minutes or more.
yeah,
You know.
that's awful. Yep, that's partly my fault, but definitely just YouTube. The YouTube stream starts later no matter what I do, and right now for some reason the way I have it set up with Streamlabs, it's always uh, generating two streams um, instead of one.
Simon mentioned he has an arcade stick
Awesome.
pieced together
Presumably
from
for the Amiga. Yeah.
arcade pieces.
Oh, nice. Not playing around.
I have the stick handy that I used to test Damon Claw recently. The
Right,
thing,
but that's not for
that
Amiga though,
Namco.
right?
Yeah, it's doing the cancellation so no one can see it.
I don't understand. Cancellation?
My 30-year-old
Yeah,
Namco
yeah,
arcade stick.
yeah. But I didn't understand what you meant by it's doing the cancellation. Are you talking
Oh, you know
about?
how the digital green screen thing is?
Yeah, yeah. It was like erasing your uh,
Yeah, I was holding up the
arcade
Namco
stick.
arcade stick and it
Yeah,
was making it vanish.
yeah,
Yeah, I looked it up before we streamed it. That thing is 30 years old.
yeah. Crazy.
Still works. That's a testimony to the
Oh yeah, the craftsmanship.
quality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's made out of metal. It works like it was new.
I really wish I had a darker brownish color to
It was
use
released in
there.
1996 along with Tekken Tag, not Tekken Tag, Tekken 2.
Oh, cool. Yep. Good job making sure you can post links to Corey. Yeah, Metro Siege especially, but Damon Claw too. Um, I'm designing Metro Siege and I designed Damon Claw to definitely work nicely. You can let me know if I'm full of crap, Chris, but because you tested Damon Claw with that to some degree.
Mm.
But adding stuff in the gameplay like the left-right shake of the joystick, obviously that's way better with a joystick than it is especially an arcade stick, as
Yeah,
compared
yeah.
to a direction D-pad.
Mm.
Uh, it's-
I had one of those NES ones that was made by Nintendo. Those weren't too bad, but they weren't great for the NES. Like there weren't a lot of games that it worked well with.
right,
Or
right, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, the games weren't really, most of them weren't really designed for that.
I'm not really sure what the first arcade stick I got was. When I try to remember one before this Namco, when I don't really have one come to mind. I know when we played Super Nintendo Street Fighter, I kind of wish I had one, but I don't think I ever solved that problem back then.
Yeah, Super Nintendo with the 6 button attack layout was not great. Using the shoulder buttons as an extra, you know,
I got
as
used
the
to it
other
really
two
quickly in Street
attacks.
Fighter, though, and I mostly used those. Those were the heavy attack by default, I think.
Right.
I guess no matter how bad it is, you will eventually get used to it, more or less.
Yeah, human beings are incredibly adaptive creatures.
Like when I ran Damon Claw and MAME, it was to do the Neo Geo emulation. It mapped the buttons terribly by default, and I didn't bother fixing it. And I did get
Yeah.
used to it.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I noticed that testing Damon Claw. The controls for Damon Claw survive well if you don't have the right layout, maybe more so than other games. Uh, could just, I
yeah.
mean, I wouldn't say that was like directly our intention, but it worked out that way, you know?
Yeah. The gameplay is simple enough that you don't tend to get super confused or flustered.
Right.
At least with how much we all played it, that we, you know, you kind of, no matter what, if you're developing a game and keep play testing it, you kind of get God level with it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard
like,
to judge if you made your game too easy
Yep.
because what
Usually
you
it's
said.
too hard is the problem. It's the curse. If you don't constantly get new testers, the odds are that your game is way more difficult and frustrating than you realize.
Yeah. You might make the mistake of making it too hard because you think
Yeah.
it's too easy.
Exact.
Because, like
That's
you said, you've been
Yep.
playing the heck out of it. You know every pattern.
Exactly. All right. This is good enough for getting this much more cleanly and sensibly blocked in, but uh, I'll give it more thought and a fresh look some other time. Oh, come to think of it, yeah, that's interesting. There's no handrails here. That's what it's missing. Although there might not need to be, there could be there, but yeah, no, that is drawn kind of like how that would be a drop. So yeah,
yeah, if it's
yeah,
meant to be more like a bit more of an open stairwell, I
yeah.
guess it would need the rails.
Oh, that's why it's weird. Yeah, like usually there would just be a wall here, like this. You know what I mean? And it would
Yeah, that's
be, yeah,
true
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's meant to be more confined.
Yeah, that keeps it simpler. What I'll do, I did all that work and I'm just going to cover almost all of it up, but it's worth it because, and just a little tip of railing showing there, it's worth it because I can even put like a, poster in perspective up there. Maybe even cast a nice shadow on it if I have enough colors. But I won't get into all of that on this stream. Just
Very shallow stairs looking.
you mean here? That's why I said I really should bring in a character as reference. I
It
think,
almost feels like
yeah.
you have 4 steps there. It probably needs to be like 3, and if they were a little bigger, it would make a little more
Well,
sense.
like I said, like judging that is going to be super hard if we don't have a character sprite to get a good
Yeah.
sense of the.
Maybe each step being a pixel taller or something would make it ramp
Yeah.
up a little faster.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the other thing too. Like even now, just having this wall there makes it way less work to heighten the stairs. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the overall design now. It's just going to be detailing it more and double checking. I just didn't want to go fishing through folders to try to find a character, like Axel or some Alex. I mean, or someone to put here. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up in a second and switch over to the drawing table to show you guys. This will be a world reveal for Corey and Chris. Haven't seen this yet either. I'll explain what I mean in a second. Save project is what I want. File, save project. Characters, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. The characters. It's a really bad idea to work on graphics that are very size and relative size dependent, like chairs, staircases, things like that. If you design your environment without having one of the actual character sprites or bobs in the case of Amiga, if you don't have it there, like on another layer, while you're working on those things, it's super easy to make the stairs too shallow, like Chris and Corey seem to think I did, which is very likely, or the opposite. So if I
Same with
were
other
working,
characters, like you want them
oh
relative
yeah,
to the size of other
yeah,
people. Yeah.
yeah, that's a funny thing. I always remarked about Street Fighter 2. Um, not tell me, not me to tell. What? Not tell me to me. I don't understand. Don't understand the joke. I have a question. Oh, I see. I have a question. Tell me the Mega Drive version of Metal Mech is just about standing toe to toe with the Neo Geo graphically. I mean, Corey does such amazing work. He always makes Mega Drive graphics that look like they are not made within the limitations of the Mega Drive, but so they look amazing and they look on par with a lot of Neo Geo games. But at the same time, keep in mind it's Corey, the same artist, that's making the enhancements for the Neo Geo version. So inevitably, Corey would have to decide like, oh, I'm going to be lazy, or intentionally not going to make the Neo Geo version look even better. So the Neo Geo
Yeah.
people get what they pay for. It's definitely enhanced, but it looks superb on the Mega
Yeah,
Drive too.
everything that can be enhanced visually will be as much as I can. A lot of extra color. I think Metal Mac will benefit immensely from the extra palettes. Like I think the environment art can look a lot nicer. Even though like I'm stretching the Mega Drive to its limits with the memory and stuff, like how much I can put in a scene and everything. But as far as gameplay differences, that's something that is without making any major promises. My general thinking on it is gameplay should be the same, but if there's room for a little more content in Neo Geo, that would be kind of neat. Like if there's an extra bit of level or boss fight or something like that we can add in that we couldn't fit on Mega Drive or maybe didn't have time for on Mega Drive. That's the way I'm viewing any other gameplay differences. As far as the second character that hasn't been revealed yet, that will probably be the same for both Mega Drive and Neo Geo. It should be. So, yeah, like we'll see down the road. I mean, as it develops, things might change. So I'll reveal and announce anything when I can about that. Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned, everybody. That the cliche, like and subscribe, and you'll get you'll get all the info first, and you'll get to see what kind of differences there are once they're ready to like shift focus more onto the Neo Geo side. But at the very least, graphical enhancements and certainly to some degree some type of gameplay differences. I know something I want to try on some future games that we develop cross platform is the idea of just subtle tweaks. Like, let's say, because we've done this a lot, Corey, where we brainstorm the gameplay of a sub boss or a boss, and we come up with all these ideas, and then we end up going with this set of ideas. But there's always the stuff that were also good ideas that we didn't use.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
a really interesting idea. Like, okay, how about for this boss fight on the Neo Geo version, now that the Mega Drive version is done in gold and shipping out the door, like, if there's time, maybe readdress one of those ideas or maybe tweak something so the gameplay feels a little bit different. Like, you have to dodge these things in this wave, this mode of the boss a little different.
Right.
That kind of
You
stuff.
might fight the same boss, but there's some big thing you want the boss to do that
Yeah.
you really only want to use on something like Neo Geo, or
Yeah, exactly.
that's always a possibility as you develop each
Yep.
encounter and everything.
So, anyway, all right, yeah, I'm going to stop there with this, at least for now. Make sure I save for the millionth time. And, let's see. Oh, yeah, second step from the bottom seems a bit short. That's also possible. Let's see. I thought I copied them all, so they all should be identical. But keep in mind, perspective is always completely fake with these 2D games. So part of the problem is theoretically there should be a vanishing point and each step should be getting a tiny bit smaller and shorter as it goes away from the camera, but that doesn't happen at all. So a lot of times the things in the front, they have the illusion of looking smaller because they should be bigger because of perspective than the ones that are further back. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it's all shaping up nicely. We're getting the tile count under control at the same time. The lights are in their good spots, and you could see now that the lighting on the floor matches. So that's the next
Right.
cleanup thing I'll do is I'll work in that other color that I realized I can use and clean that up for the whole floor, and then I'm going to put more of these diagonal separations to make it look like floorboards, and probably give the little tiny nail type detailing. I don't know with what color yet. We'll see. Keep it subtle. I might keep it monochromatic just so that it's even more subtle. I'll leave that there to remind myself, but I really should. I should have done it. Let me pick place. There we go. Anyway, save that, and now I'm going to. So keep in mind, guys, while I am over there showing you, I can't see the chat at all. So let me know, Chris and Corey, if anyone makes any comment that we should really address.
Okay.
Or just start addressing it yourself if it's that type of question that doesn't need me to ramble on about. But anyway, so let's switch over to drawing table. My apologies in advance if there's going to be any loud noise while I rotate the microphone. There we go. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. And then let me know. I can sort of see my screen. There we go. Okay. Steam Deck is in view, nice and dusty. I don't know if the music is getting picked up at all on the microphone, but okay. So before we were having a really hard time. I could get the actual modern version of Damon Claw running on the Steam Deck without trouble, but it was the Mega Drive and the Neo Geo version that were a complete no-go. We just could not get it working. First, we were trying through Proton, which is the way to get Windows apps working. And it became clear after quite a bit of tries that that just wasn't going to happen. It might just magically work someday because Valve are really good at continually improving, uh, making Windows apps work on it, but we can't really wait for that because it might never happen. So I started working on actually making emulation wrappers that work on Linux directly for our games. And this is actually, as you probably noticed, this is the Neo Geo version. I already get the Mega Drive version working just as well. And one of the cool things, do you see these blue borders on either side? So that's actually a graphic, and right now I just have it hard set at 3 different graphics. But we're going to be able to decide, we can make custom art for each of our games, and the user could choose just like black border or like art 1, art 2, or border graphic 1, 2, or 3. And we can make it unlimited if we want to, or change depending on how many are in like a folder. You know what I mean? So that per game we could decide how many borders, different borders to make. You can also see it's curved like CRT monitors or the kind of fisheye effect. And the cool thing is, if I go into video options, you can see blue. It just lists colors, but that could be the name of the image too. So each of those is a different image. The black one is not an image though; it's just black borders. Then scan lines, light, strong, or off. And then the CRT effect, off, soft, and curved. So if you just want a little bit of soft CRT blurring, but not the fisheye effect. And then that we could even stretch it. I might remove this because to me that's sacrilege to make it full screen and stretch. But it was just a feature that already existed in the emulator, so I didn't change that. But this interface for this emulator is completely custom and super simplified. And one of the biggest things, the best open source emulator that a commercial like indie game studio can use to get Mega Drive emulated games running on like Steam and stuff like that is Blastum. But I've always despised, and no offense to the programmer that made Blastum, he made it free and it's incredibly good at emulating. But the input mapping is a nightmare on Blastum. So for both Blastum and this, I made completely custom mapping where you literally choose if you're mapping player 1 or 2. And then it's the simple press up, press down, press left, right, A, B, C, D, start, and then save state, back bumper, load state, other back bumper, and then open the emulator menu, and you're done. And then you just approve the settings, return to your game, and it's mapped exactly how you want it. And our version of Blastum works the same exact way and has. Am I still? Yeah, it's still on camera. Sorry, guys. It's probably blurry as heck, I think. Uh, maybe. Yeah, sorry. But the important thing, hopefully you got the gist of it. It's running beautifully. It sounds great. It looks great. The Mega Drive version is working just as well. After this, I'm going to update our Windows versions with the same enhanced interface, better options. Like the current one, even not on Steam Deck, but the current emulation wrapper we're using for the Windows version on Steam of Damon Claw to play the Mega Drive version. It doesn't have this good button mapping, and it doesn't have custom. You can't do custom borders, and it's like when you turn on its different screen filters, there's no visible difference between them all. So like now they're very distinctly different with scan lines and fishbowl kind of CRT and softening and all that. It's way more. Not that you guys could tell because my table camera is so blurry. I'll get a replacement camera as soon as I can for the table. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's certainly possible. I'm definitely going to cover the most basic stuff first. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But and that would really make sense too if we start making games for like GBA and stuff like that too. But yeah, like even for this, I can certainly look into adding additional filtering types. Like right now, I feel like there should be one more thing in between that's a little less fishbowl, but you know what I mean? Like more blurry than the current one. Like anyway, yeah, I'll make sure there's really good options that fit everyone's taste, except for stretching it to fit widescreen. That's blasphemy. But but yeah, it's working great. And yeah, a little sneak peek of playing the Neo Geo version live. For those who have been following and waiting very patiently, very sorry guys that it's taking so long. I just keep continue testing the heck out of it, sending back feedback. I can tell you recently their latest build I confirmed fixed something like 15 tickets, but there's still more outstanding tickets, and it's just gonna continue in that pattern until I and hopefully other testers can play through many times and there's no obvious issue. We're just doing everything we can to make it worth the wait and a game that you're going to be happy to own and want to play a lot. So anyway, that's it. I'll switch back. Is the music going to stop? There we go. Okay. Make sure that doesn't fall. All right, I'm going to switch back. Be right back, guys. Okay, was that relatively painless? Did it make any horrible squeaking noise when I rotated the microphone?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Awesome.
From what I could tell. But...
Excellent. All right. Let's see. What time is it? Yeah, I'm going to stop in 50 minutes at the most. Let me really quickly check. Have you guys seen Jared appear at all in the... not Jared from VOD Ninja or BD Ninja. Jared from Project COE. Let's see. Just want to make sure I'm not accidentally ignoring him. No, doesn't seem so. Okay. I did give him the link, so theoretically, I'll make sure that window is open in case he pops in. Okay. All right, so the other Metro Siege progress that I was going to make, that I shall make, is less visually interesting. It's kind of mundane monkey work that just has to happen for technical reasons on the Amiga version. And that is the enemies for the industrial level. The big difference with them is that they have more moves they can block, and they're the first enemies in the game that can actually roll to the side to bait the players into hurting their knees or elbows. And so toward those ends, the fastest way that I could create enemies, placeholder enemies that had all those required animations, was to actually clone and paint over Alex, the player character Alex. But the problem is that the player characters, their animation sets were differently named to some degree and may have had different timing or more or less frames. Like, and that could really mess up the logic. Like right now, the way Metro Siege is programmed, for the most part, every enemy has the same number of frames for every attack type, same name for, so even if that character doesn't throw a jab, their quick attack is still called jab, and it still has the attack box at a specific frame and all that stuff. So I have to just do the kind of monkey work of using references. I took screenshots because I think you knew this, Corey, but until maybe today, there was a problem with Retro Animator where you could not have two Retro Animators open at the same time. So you can't.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking
load
about it.
one thing. Yeah, like so if I wanted to load up one of the other enemies as a reference and compare all those things, it would screw up when I tried to load another, like this enemy in another Retro Animator. Eric supposedly fixed that, but I thought I had updated it, but maybe not in this Windows. My Windows account for streaming might not have
it. Yeah, it has.
Version.
It still has some kinks to work out. I think.
Yeah.
I was working on two different Metal Mac characters, and sometimes you'll just name body parts the same thing, like for different characters in different folders or whatever, different JSON files or whatever. And it
Yeah.
had replaced accidentally, just I think due to the program's own memory. It wasn't within the game engine, but it was like it
Yeah.
was replacing a body part with the wrong one, so I had to kind of close and reopen. It was kind of a
Yeah.
funny looking bug, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my apologies, Simon, for the delay. That was in large part my fault this time. So it'll be less bad in the future. But yeah, I see what you're saying about the forklift. Yeah, that is weird the way like this seems to be trying to go kind of in a straight line but not really. So like making it do like a V or a reverse V would look better. It would also potentially hide any mistakes I make in the perspective a little better, which is always a bonus.
Right.
But that's something I'll get into later. But I'll make a mess of it to remind myself what I was going to do. Uh,
Yeah, he did
we,
mention wood floor versus something else for a forklift as well,
all right, like
like a
typically a warehouse that would have a forklift would
um,
have cement floors. Is that the
yeah,
point?
cement or
Yeah,
something, concrete, asphalt, whatever.
yeah. Uh, that is almost certainly true. I'll give that some thought too. But I did.
It brings up an interesting art thing though, where it's like
Yeah,
suddenly you're changing possibly the color of a large chunk of the environment, so you have to think about that a
yeah,
little bit in a color composition way.
yeah, exactly. And like that's the other thing with the Amiga version. Do I have the grays required to pull that off to make it a concrete floor instead? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I actually looked at photo references. There were some old warehouses, especially on the east coast of the U.S., where that has tends to have older buildings that were wood, but also there are some that have like a weird cementy stone kind of floor, but it's kind of like in big tiles, so to speak. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
they're always like pretty chipped up and scratched up. So I'll give that some thought and look at more photo references. But I'll probably keep the color scheme and come up with a texture that works pretty much the same way, but isn't blatantly wood, maybe. You know? So look at that, Simon. You actually can have an influence on how the finished game looks by participating in the live chats. Um, and good feedback, by the way. Always appreciate it. Let's see.
If you ever
Yeah,
make a demake of this version of the game, you could replace that with like a pallet jack instead of a forklift.
yeah.
So
One
it's
of
like a
these
smaller
guys.
object. Yeah, more
Yeah,
memory. Yeah.
yeah. On the East Coast, they were often called a hand. What was it called? A hand truck. Chris, what were
Well,
these?
I guess that's more of a dolly, right?
Dolly, dolly too.
But the pallet,
Absolutely.
yeah, like the hand
Yeah,
pallet jacks, yeah.
yeah.
I get, yeah, there may be a more technical name. I don't know.
Right. Anyhow, let me switch over. I'll close this so I'm not tempted to go back into that. Load. And then let me just quickly make sure enemy 8. Who's enemy 8? Enemy 8 is apparently nobody. Yeah, no body parts.
So, were
Oh,
you
wait, no, it's
going
just not
to
showing it.
maybe test out the possibility of two retro animators open? Is that what
No,
you're?
I did that already, and sadly,
Oh,
this
okay.
version, I thought I had updated it, but apparently not the right way, so it still has that problem. But that's
Okay.
okay. Before I asked Eric Hogan to fix that in Retro Animator, I had taken these screenshots that let me know like these are the correct enemy animation lists, and these are the keyframes with the collision box for the key attack animations. So I was
Mhm.
just gonna boringly go through that and make sure the animation names are correct for all this stuff relative to this guide. I hated it when I accidentally click and drag a freaking entire folder instead of a window. All right. So what's this? And in fact, maybe let's see what kind of chaos this causes. Yep, will you go away? Is it gonna do the? Yep. No, that's not. There. Oh, okay. There you go. That actually behaved very nicely. Black loop. That's correct. Success bumped. Counterattack. I know I had already done some of this to a degree. All right, counterattack makes perfect sense. Other enemies don't have counterattacks. The one I screen grabbed, so that can keep its name like the player had. Same thing. I don't think most of them have a cross. Let's double check. Got this other. Yep. Nope. Okay. So that can stay the same. Die, I'm sure, is the same. Die. Yep. Down. Down. Stunned. Fall back down. Okay, so far so good. I think I had already done most or all of these. So this should go quickly. Fall back up. How does that make sense? Fall back up. Oh, it's the upward trajectory. It's the start of the fall. Okay, now it does make sense. Yep. Start. Okay. Get up. Okay, yep. And same thing, I think this might be the first enemies that can grab you too. So that'll be a big deal. Grab, attempt, grab knee, grab loop, grabbed hit. That's the same. Hit while down. Let me know if you guys see a difference, but so far so good. Idle. Jab. Jab A. Alright, I guess I need to switch over to the other one then. B. Jump stunned, that's the same. Most enemies don't have leg sweeps, that's fine. Low block success. Yeah, most don't, but yep, this one has it, okay. Electrocuted is the same. Intro stone. Oh, yeah, that's the enemy that gets his weapon grabbed, his pipe grabbed by Officer Bob. That sounds dirty.
Oh,
Let's
right.
see.
Yeah.
Mercy. And then he gets kicked in the butt, sent toward the players. Yeah, and parry. Roll up, roll down. Throw. Slammed, stunned. Thrown start. Okay, that's interesting. Thrown down exists here, but it just doesn't even exist at all here. So I'll just make a note of that to deal with later. Wake up is the same, and walking is the
So
same.
for
Okay.
context, I guess
Yep.
what you're doing is you guys have code that references the same animation
Animation
names
names
on
for
different
all enemies.
characters. That's great. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, as you know, everything is a tug of war, and it's a matter of squeezing, reusing as much things in the data as possible, and that includes the logic. And so every enemy there you can add different animations to an enemy, but all of the ones that are universal, like they're gonna walk, they're gonna idle, they're gonna get stunned, they're gonna get hit, all of those animations should have the same exact name and ideally have the same like number of frames, or if there's like a hitbox involved or anything like that. It's not like the hitbox needs to be the same size, but it should be in the same frame of the same animation, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just need to make a note for myself somehow. I'll do that.
Hey, Mike, I'm going
Yeah.
to drop
Yep.
off for a bit.
All right. Well, thanks for
We'll see if
joining.
my avatar automatically disappears when I disconnect.
Yep. All right. Let me know, Corey, because I'm not seeing the stream at the moment. Let me know if Chris disappears. on the stream. Left.
All right.
Right. So missing. Thrown down. Or what, did I just miss it? Am I in my fatigue just not seeing it? I'm pretty sure I'm not. Thrown down. Yeah, no, it's definitely missing. Okay. And then now that I got that test done, this next thing would be to check the specific frames. So we have enemy leg sweep. The collision box is on the 3rd frame. And it's just called attack_0. So I can look for leg sweep. And let's see. I don't need this much room. Show collision rectangle. Yep. Attack_0. Yep. The interesting thing is this doesn't have any damage value set to it, whereas on this screen grab, it's set to 5. But I don't know if this is actually. Why is double clicking on this not having an effect?
I don't know.
Oh.
I
set
can
value.
confirm
Yep.
that Chris did, his avatar did properly disappear.
Sweet.
As
Okay,
expected.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So that's good. Save. Sorry, that was loud, guys. The system sound effect. Enemy hook. There's only a few more animations, and then I'll move on to something else. Maybe for the end of this, I'll do something more fun and play Damon Claw or Metro Siege or something. Let's see. So this is enemy hook. Well, that's an interesting one because his hook is a flying knee, but the collision box is on the 1st frame. So hook. 1st frame. Yep. All right, and it does have a value that time. That's interesting. Okay. That's done. Hook A. That's not relevant. That doesn't have any attack box. Okay. I don't even know why I screen grabbed that one. Enemy jab, 1st frame. This particular enemy does nothing but leg attacks other than his pipe attack. 1st frame. Yep. Attack. Okay. And then one more. And again, this has no, okay, there's no point to that. Although it is interesting, it has 3 frames, and this only has 2, but I don't think that matters. That'll just affect the difficulty, because there's less time, there's less of a tell before he jabs, which is probably good since this is much later in the game than the early levels, so it's good if there's less time to react to their attacks. All right, now well, that's it. That's all I needed to do for this. If I were less tired, I would actually make that animation. What was it called? Was it thrown down, I think? Yeah, thrown down. But I will probably do that when I'm not streaming, probably tomorrow after I have slept. All right, so I can close that. And let's see. Let me get OBS back open so I can see if there's any new comments. Doesn't look it. All right. So I think I will. Let's see if I can actually get this working here. And that's it. Just lock screen. All right, almost done. Oh, and it logged me out yet again. So weird. It's loading up the Windows version of Construct. Of yeah, that's true of Construct for Damon Claw, so I can
Mhm.
plane through it. Did you see last time? Yeah, yeah, the dwarf that escapes the golem or the armored dwarf that just can't escape anymore. Yeah, maybe I'll
Yeah, yeah,
actually
it's
look at
getting
see if
stuck
I
on the
can.
floor.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see what caused that. Um, like why was it working before but not working now? All right, let me put it back here because I have to log in again just in case I accidentally show my login credentials. Again. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go to level 4, which goes all the way to level 5. Here's Damon Club behind the scenes. It's been a long time since people have seen stuff like this. We used to make very long form videos of us working on Damon Claw. All right,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's the weird thing. Look how wide open this looks, and
Right. Yeah.
somehow the dwarf is getting stuck on something that looks like it should be impossible, but it's like something is set. Hmm. That's an interesting.
Maybe
Yep.
maybe it's
Go ahead.
related to the screen, the edge of the screen, rather than the map collision. I don't know.
No, he's nowhere near the edge. Oh, you mean like the bottom of the screen? No, that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is the actual screen is here, and the map goes even longer. So it's not that. I'm thinking. You see how wide the this rectangle here? If the collision box somehow got that wide, that might do it. So let's check. No, the collision box is the size it's always been. You can see how it's not pixel perfect though. I was thinking that could have been an issue. Um, if I click this, does it? Yeah, yeah. So, but this is just guessing at this point. Um, It's a nice clean box now, even though that's weird, isn't it? That like look, the checkerboard pattern isn't pixel based. So
Right.
it looks almost pixel aligned here. That's what tricked me. But then you get over here and it's not at all. I was like,
It,
why
do you
isn't this
think
aligned?
is
Yep,
it
go ahead.
properly like I don't know. I don't remember this about Construct, but
Yep.
is it possible that it was using the wrong animation or something, and that was not adhering to
No, yeah, there's only
this
these
sort of
two.
collision? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah, there's
thought.
only
Yeah.
these two, and they're now their boxes are exactly the same. But that was the same exact thinking I had. Since there's nothing here, there's no like floor piece jutting out. There's theoretically nothing. I'm gonna just move this out of the way. So the only other possibility I can even think of is somehow maybe one of these tiles got set to being solid in the actual visual tile map.
Mm, yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to somehow copy this, which is the position of this thing, because I've got to temporarily move it out of the way. And I'm going to find somewhere I can paste this info.
And I guess it
Um,
has to be for the fight, right? For the normal fight before that. It has to be solid.
uh,
The floor.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's an interesting point, isn't it? That something has to happen in the logic that either destroys something or does something to make it so that the player can't fall down that hole. What a
Yeah,
great
that
point, Corey. I wasn't even thinking that. And maybe that's just not triggering for some reason. That makes a lot of sense as a potential cause because Yeah, that white box, that's got to be it. It's interesting. Okay.
It also looks a little bit in the wrong spot or something. Like slid over to the left.
Yeah, I'm gonna Z order that to the top. And size, I'm gonna make sure that's pixel perfect too. 22. And then its position should not be any kind of weird decimal. That's fine. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, it should be over here.
I mean, unless
Yeah, no, there's no
there's
reason
some
for
good
it.
reason it's
No, no.
moved. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But so now the last thing is enabled. I have a feeling that just somehow got it's not successfully getting disabled. So let me see if I still have that in my. Yeah, okay. Well, this let's make this visible too, so we could see. Uh, it's going to be ugly, but it'll help us solve the problem. Save, and then I'm going to main button, preview project. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I'm going to use the level skip. Hey,
At
Settlin and
least
Amiga, welcome. Hey, Cannon. Assuming that's how you pronounce that. Thanks very much. Oops, this is really loud. Sorry, guys. I don't even know if you guys can hear it, but loud as
I
heck. I'll
can't
make that
on
quiet.
my end, but
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm sharing my screen with you on Discord, so options.
right, yeah.
And I'm muted on Discord, but oops, I'm not in the sound. There we go. Guys, can you hear Damon Claw at all? Can you hear the music or sound effects at all? Oh, let me know if you see. Are you also on Twitch? Sound is
I
fine.
checked it.
Yeah.
I checked it on the viewing end, and it is a little loud. Yeah, the music
The game music. Okay, game
or
music.
sound and music, I guess.
Yeah,
Overall,
exactly. All right, is it getting any quieter, or let me know, guys, if it's
it,
actually getting quieter, or I might need to do that in OBS. But that's the thing, I don't even see audio output capture. I guess that's it. All right, is that better, guys? Sounds good on YouTube. Okay, maybe I'll leave it alone about here. Let me know, guys. But yeah, I'm just gonna skip to, let's see, Shift 5. I think will get me right in front of him. There we go.
nice.
Look at that beautiful white box. Ship it.
Well, at least it's not nuclear green, you know.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Little easy timing for that. Now you know how to beat this guy. If you don't, if you don't panic on the PC version and you build it, there it went right down that time. Yeah, we fixed it. I think the even the misalignment doesn't make sense because it clearly it becomes fully non-solid. So
Right.
I'm not even sure why it fixed, but it fixed.
Maybe it
Unless,
was the placement of it or something, you know.
yep,
There's
but like
something
I
weird about that.
said, like it
It
becomes
should just
completely not solid, so it doesn't matter where it's placed.
right.
Like, or it shouldn't matter is the point. But so now I can make it invisible again. Imagine if making it invisible suddenly broke it. All kinds of funny things can happen sometimes. So I'm gonna double check one more time now
It's
that
possible, yeah.
it would be a bug on the construct side at that point. But oh, the volume! It didn't remember the volume setting. Sorry, guys. That's my own fault. I didn't save the setting. So save. Done. All right, and then Shift 5. And then after this, I'll actually play the game from the beginning now that it won't soft lock if this is still fixed. No. Yeah, right down the hole. Well, that's what we want. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna
Very
quit
nice.
so that we don't see the. Don't want to spoil the boss until I actually earn my way to him. Sounds good on YouTube. Music for now. Game looks great though. Thank you very much, Canon. Have you seen Damon Claw before? Or are you literally new to Bitbeam Canon and our projects in general? Or maybe you learned of Bitbeam Canon through Metal Mac or Metro Siege. Let me know. And we'll keep an eye out for your response. Unfortunately, there's a massive delay for some reason with the chat on YouTube. But anyway, let me dive in. Sorry, I'm skipping the text. It's nearing the time where I'm going to stop streaming for the night. If you saw me just do that weird hand movement, there was a little fruit fly flying in front of my face. But yeah, while I'm playing this, I should give everyone that's watching an update. I made some nice progress with the Corey also has been making some ouch fantastic. It disappeared and I programmed it so I guess if you there we go, friendly fire. Or was that a bug? Why did that guy's Oh, I think it's because he was part of the kind of sub boss thing that stops the scrolling. So once you kill him and the scrolling's going to recover, since you're paused for a second, I just destroy their boomerang if it's out in the air. I don't know if you noticed, but
Mm-hmm.
he threw his boomerang. It was about to hit me in the back, and then it disappeared.
It was maybe a
So like
little
that.
fast for me to notice, but yeah.
All right, yeah. Screen share might not be doing so hot.
Well, yeah, it may be something you're more aware of, I guess, with the boomerangs, how they work. Yeah, we made good art book progress, actually.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, Corey and I have been working hard. We have a goal of trying to actually get it wrapped up by next week so we can send it to the printer by the time of the next update video for Damon Claw. And it's a lot of work, but we're on track to do it, and it's looking great. And one thing I did today, which I'll actually show you guys just before ending the stream, if Corey's okay with showing them a sneak peek of a couple of the, the 2-page spreads that have where the drawing of the boss should be, not the final boss, obviously but I could show. Basically, what I'm doing is digitally on a separate layer sketching in the boss drawing so that I can plan out what looks good pose wise and size and cropping wise. And then I'm going to draw an actual paper or illustration board, ink it and color it like American comic book style for its rightful spot in the art book.
Yeah, we can definitely show
Sweet.
some preview stuff.
Yep. I've never done that combo before. That was funny. I made him land on his own bounced grenade in midair. That was cool. I just saw them recently. Well, welcome and thanks very much for joining us, Cannon. And we do plan on doing a lot of, we'll get into a very consistent streaming schedule, and we're going to be doing more, really behind the scenes game development, pixel art. We'll kind of explain the choices we're making for pixel art, the technical constraints we're dealing with for any given system, and we'll actually start sometimes brainstorming actual gameplay ideas and things like that. So if that kind of stuff is interesting to you, we would love to have you tune in or watch
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
videos. We've got a nice backlog of videos we made in the past. We've got a series called Forensic Pixology, where Corey and I, two professional, uh, kind of industry veteran pixel artists, check out and kind of analyze some classic games, sometimes arcade, sometimes 8-bit Nintendo, and discuss the art and art choices and the reasons they may have made the kind of decisions they did and how the technical constraints of the systems can play a huge role on the types of choices that the artists make and can make.
Yeah, and also to answer the question of does the bird boss have a name? The we
Yeah.
are technically giving them names, but they're not super specific names. Unless we change
Yeah.
our mind about that before we,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
know I know for sure eventually in the canon everyone will have their actual name. But even by the time of the art book release, some of the characters like bosses, like right now, I think I just called the bird boss the Adleraki, which is the name of the birdman's Zverkin,
Mhm.
like that race basically. I just called him the Adleraki chieftain. So they're going to be called things, but in the game, there's no need for their names to be referenced most of the time. But we do plan on future games and maybe even other media that takes place in the same universe of NAR. So over time, I definitely plan on filling in all those missing details and other like backstories and history and like the future of the world beyond where this game ends up and all those fun things. So Damon Claw
Yeah,
is
we
just the beginning of the world of NAR. Yep, good.
I think that there are a couple of patron videos where we're brainstorming names for some of
Yeah,
the
yep. The
characters and
wizard.
races
So
and stuff of this world. Yeah.
exactly. The human characters are all named. The we had to come up with the names for each Zverkin type. So
Yeah.
for example, Adleraki. The fishmen are I think are Algonkin,
Hmm.
um, and which are in this level, and then but for the sake of the art book and right now, we don't need to come up with every name, and I want to be able to really take the time to name them as I'm developing the deeper lore for other World of Nar projects. So I don't want to like rush into it for the sake of the art book to have everyone's definitive name worked out. I'd rather, oopsie, I can cheat to avoid dying.
Yeah, the
Continue.
for the art book, anyways. I mean, the focus is more on the visuals, and
Yeah,
I mean, there's some text there, that explains the context of some of the art and decisions we
yeah.
made, but it's more about the visuals and displaying all that as well as possible,
Yeah, and the art book, yeah, it's not meant to be like a, monster. What do you call that? A in D and
like a
D. What
lore
was it
guide
called?
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, there's a word for it. Monster compendium, or that's not even the right word. I can't think of what it is in Dungeons and Dragons. Someone, fellow D&D nerd out there, or someone who's more nerdy than me. Um, the even the art book is kind of from the perspective of someone who played Damon Claw, and because those bosses have no need to say I'm so and so for the most part, you know what I mean? Like any character
Right.
where that made sense, like the King Ordenfell, King of the Dwarves, which are called Dvorkin in our in the world of Nar. Like we named him, but if their name doesn't come up in a way that makes sense to the player, then their name is not in the art book, basically.
And to contrast that, it is that way in the instruction manual designs for Damon Claw. So, like anything that needed a name in the instruction manual that we need to explain has its official lore name and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right, but not characters. Like not any of the characters that weren't
Yeah,
already
yeah. In
named.
other
Yeah.
words, like there's nothing specific in the instruction manuals about the bosses
Right,
themselves. You know what I
exactly.
mean? Yeah, it's more about the controls and a little bit
Right.
of a general view over world, explanation. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Monstrous Mania. Bestiary. I think that's it. Bestiary. That's what I was
Oh,
looking for.
right. Yeah.
Thank you. I had the word monster in my head so much, there was no way I was going to remember bestiary. Ouch. The reason I'm dying quite a few times in the PC version here is, like I mentioned in the previous stream, Corey, that right now, the way it is, if you try to drop kick the toad, you get hurt.
Right.
So I'm
And you
not
just
used
have
to
a
that
habit of
most.
it.
Yeah. Like, I played the Mega Drive version a million times while developing and then testing it to get it to gold. And now it's been the same thing with the Neo Geo version, and in both of those versions you can safely drop kick the toads. But I was like, with the PC version, I was like, it's wider screen, you have more reaction room. Um, Let me try. Let's see what it's like. If you can't, because they're so spiky, you can't. You'll get hurt if you drive your foot, your leather
Yeah.
soled foot down into the
I
giant
like
spikes.
that
But
too, because we
yeah,
were attempting with this level. It's like the third level, so
yeah, ramp up the
design wise, we
difficulty.
wanted to mix up the gameplay and make it a little less predictable for the enemies, and whether you can, the ways you can harm them and stuff.
Thanks very much, JTB 8.1. This is very predominantly Corey's amazing pixel art as always. This is mostly the Neo Geo art that he did. So the PC version, and we're doing the same exact thing with Metro Siege. The PC version starts with the Neo Geo graphics as a base, but then we can make it widescreen and we can add additional layers and we can add translucent effects, so we're doing that as tastefully as possible. um, like, we don't want a bunch of 24-bit particle effects all over the screen. We want it to look more like the amount of translucent effects that the Super Nintendo could do, to keep it nicely in that late 16-bit generation aesthetic. So
Right.
you can
Yeah.
see like the explosions there, the waterfalls in this level. Whenever there's like dust that's slightly
Yeah. Thank.
translucent.
Yeah. Thank you guys for the compliments. And this is another thing that magically worked out well for Damcon. We started with a sort of wide screen view in Construct, but the
Yeah,
game was zoomed
yep,
in a little more, I believe,
yeah,
at the
yeah.
beginning.
It sure
And when we
was.
expanded it out, we were worried. We were like, I don't know what this is going to be
Whoa.
like with all this extra space, but it
Yeah,
holds up very well. The Neo Geo graphics.
yeah. While you were talking, there was a funny bit of a bug. I created an ice column right on top of one of the gargoyles,
Oh
and
yeah.
construct like violently booted him out of the solid block.
Oh
So he
no.
went he went flying like a third of the way across the screen, to like, he was given velocity to get him the hell out of the block. That was really interesting. So like, that's the funny thing when you're working with, especially authoring systems that do a ton of stuff for you, like have built-in platformer physics and things like that. There's very much a danger when there's an update to the authoring system. It can introduce new bugs or change the behavior of things. So you have to keep an eye on updates, and you have to decide, did the bugs that, like right now, these bugs I've never seen before. There were a couple of them, like the dwarf getting stuck. That was just, it never was a problem before, and then suddenly it was a problem when I updated construct. And you have to
Mm.
do a test and like decide, the new bugs that were introduced by construct being different, is it going to take a long time? Is it worth fixing those issues that so they work well with the new construct? um, or should I revert back to the previous build of construct and just stick with that until the game's done? So like, here's another bug I haven't fixed yet, where just the gargoyle doesn't wake up until you walk a little bit closer to him. I'm sure that'll be an
Oh
easy
yeah.
fix. I don't think that's the fault of this build of construct. I think Chris and I changed quite a bit of the code at some point of the gargoyle boss, and we never fixed that little side effect of a big code change. Something like that. Oops.
Hmm.
So if you, I'll see if I can let him do it now that his health is pretty low. If a baby gargoyle gets too close to him, he'll actually eat it to get some health back. There we go. He just did.
Yep.
So pretty grisly, but he normally wouldn't do that. But not to spoil too much the story, the lore. Um, but yeah, it's very fun to do a game like this that's all fast action. But we worked hard to create the sense of a rich world visually. You could tell there's a lot going on. There's a history to the world, and I think we did it to pat ourselves on the back. I think we did a great job forwarding the story and making it feel like there's a rich world just right in the the what do you call it? Like the introductions, the
Intermission.
little yeah, exactly. Like the little dialogue before and after each boss fight. It was pretty much all we needed to carry the other than the intro cinematic that you made. Thanks very much, Canon. And by the way, this is going to be a spoiler. This is a classic arcade style game. It is not long, and I've played a million times, so I'm blasting through. Also, there's no hard difficulty setting yet on this, so there's not a ton left. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to avert your eyes,
Right. Yeah.
for the next, I don't know, maybe 10-ish minutes, and then I'll be done. Um, Maybe sooner, maybe six to 10 minutes. I'm not sure. I love, the gameplay worked out so nicely in the section. I love it so much. The chaos that can happen with the friendly fire of the dwarves and the drones, and how you can make the drones fly into and explode on the dwarves. There's so many ways to like repel them and turn some enemies into weapons against the other enemies. Worked out really well. And then to really mix up the gameplay here, usually in the game, the uppercut and your high jump are incredibly useful and used a lot, and so the player gets used to doing it like I just did accidentally. No, I mean, I did it on purpose to show what I'm talking about, to demonstrate. Um, but now you get punished. You have to keep an eye on like what's a safe part, what part of the ceiling has no spikes. Oh boy! Oh boy! And then what's interesting is in this part, the story, there was a little dialogue just before this section where you're the advisor to the king, the wizard who sent you on this mission to save humankind. He tells you that there's these glowing things here that Corey animated. They are magic wards that basically block all other magic. So now your magical gauntlet Damon Claw has no magical power. It's just a kind of rusty iron gauntlet, its original form, before being like enchanted with powerful magic. So it what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, yeah. So you can't earn back health the usual magic way with the red orbs that come out of defeated enemies.
Right. Yeah.
So we introduce potions, and it's a little nod to Golden Axe. If you remember the gnomes that you can kick in Golden Axe, the thief gnomes, when you're camping, and when you kick them, they make a high pitched kind of "ow" noise. And there's when they're a dwarf with a backpack, and if you hit him right, he goes "ow," and he drops a healing potion. So that's a nod to Golden Axe. I know I'm just lumping in short humanoids altogether, gnomes and dwarves, so pardon my insensitivity there, but I don't know who'd be more insulted, a dwarf or a gnome, at that comparison or juxtaposition.
Yeah, it did present a design challenge, though. It's like, well, I'm going to remove this thing, and
Oops. Yeah.
it changes, something about the gameplay you have to sort of compensate for, but you can do it in a fun way without it being,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
feeling like a chore or something. Yeah.
Sepp Lemon Amiga said that potion looked very Golden Axey. Of course, this is all sprite rips from other games. All sprite rips and AI. That's the kind of quality you can expect from Bitbeam Canon. Of course, I'm kidding. Very lovingly handcrafted. You'll see more and more as we live stream, and Corey has done some great time lapse videos of him doing some of the pixel art for Damon Claw, and you'll see more of that as we work on these current game projects.
Yep.
Imagine if the dwarf suddenly got stuck in the trapdoor hole again. I love it when stuff like that. Nope, it worked.
Oh.
Fantastic. All right, so here
Yeah,
comes the
I'm like
final.
you though. I'm still a little unsure what actually fixed it,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
so weird.
just funny.
Like its misalignment wasn't good, but it also would have not explained the problem at all. And I don't remember really changing anything else. Oh, I did make the dwarf's box pixel perfect. I think that was it somehow. I think he was switching between animations and his collision box was going a half a pixel into the wall and that was sticking him in the
Oh,
wall.
right. Yeah,
I
that's a
think,
thing you have to watch out for when you change frames or animations if the box changes
yeah.
size. That happens
Yeah.
quite often, yeah.
Well, actually, I should recommend slash request that with I think his name is Simon, the lead programmer of Scara. Or am I just do I just have Simon in my head because of our awesome Simon in the chat here? Is the guy from
Not
Scara's
sure.
name? I'm not positive now. But anyway, the Scara lead programmer, I should request or recommend. You can set your construct project to be in pixel art mode, and that way, like, everything gets snapped to the pixel as far as positions. But it should do that too. If you switch your project to pixel art mode when you're setting your collision boxes, those should be pixel perfect too, to avoid those kind of issues, you know?
Right.
Because all that's going to do, you would never want a half pixel collision box in a pixel perfect game. All it's going to do is lead to potential bugs like that. Oh, someone just messaged, I think, maybe on Discord. Could you check, Corey, see if maybe Jared is checking in or something?
Yeah, I'll check.
Thank you. I cheated. I pressed the left shoulder button to get my health back. There, one more hit and he's dead. So if you don't want to see the ending, then avert your eyes. But this isn't the full ending. Or no, actually it might be the full ending. So if you don't want to see the full ending as if you beat it on hard, then avert your eyes. Because I think currently that's the only ending I programmed was the full ending.
I'm not seeing anything on my end for...
Okay, alright, then let me check.
Might just be or something in your own.
Yeah, it is
This
Jared.
one.
Oh, cool. He said he's coming in. Cool. Let me check. I gotta get back to Video Ninja. Sorry, guys. I'm boomering it. This is gonna take me a little while. There he is. Hey, I see you. I don't hear you yet, but I see you. And I need to also check... let's see. I didn't need to give you permission, so you're right, and that's fine. And you're not showing up on the stream yet. I think this is where you should be.
While you do that, I'll be right back.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay. I still don't hear you, Jared, but I'm going to try adding you on OBS and see where that gets us. That might solve the issue. Let's see. Properties. Paste. Okay. So in a second, Jared, people should be able to see you on the stream. Yep, we can see you now, but we still can't hear you. It's on my side? You think it's my fault? Alright. If you have a theory what I'm boomering, type it in Discord, please. Let's see. But it's weird, I didn't hear you in Video Ninja at all. Corey, you didn't hear him either, right? He's not muted.
Yeah.
Oh, now we hear you.
Do you?
Yep, now we hear you.
Okay.
You know
okay,
what's...
yeah, you
Yep.
you had me, it said the director has you muted.
Alright, so this is a Video Ninja bug. The mute button showed you as not muted, but I muted you and unmuted you, and that fixed it. I actually remember that happening the other day with someone, with either Corey or Chris. Yeah, there's still some imperfections, or maybe it's one of those things where it depends on like what browser you're using. Like I'm using it in Brave, and maybe it would have worked fine in Chrome. Or yeah. Did you ever see this implemented, the full ending, Corey, in on the PC version? Oh, I don't hear Corey now. Oh yeah, he said he
No,
was going to go for a
yeah,
bit.
he said he was gonna go. So
Yeah.
where can I
Welcome.
actually see you? Because you're invisible
Ah.
to me.
I guess let's see. I was sharing, or I am sharing. If you go in, but mute yourself for sure, there will be an echo in the Discord server, the mic streaming Discord server. In the chat room, the voice streaming room. If you go there, I am sharing my screen. Oh, you still won't see my camera
I'm
feed,
muted.
but yeah, you won't see. Oh, good. But so yeah, you'll see my screen share, but you
Okay.
won't see me unless I have OBS up on that screen, which I will do right now.
So what are you working on? What are you doing? Hello, world.
So yes, this is Jared. I was so
Welcome,
tired.
Jared.
Yeah, I was so tired. I introduced you. Yeah, Corey, Jared, Corey. Corey, the other half of Bitbeam. Jared, I know you've watched our Bitbeam Canon update, so I know you know Corey's voice well and his avatar.
I do.
Yeah. So, but he's the other half of Bitbeam Canon and the amazing pixel artist that did most of the art. I did this. I did the characters for the screen. I think Corey did a lot of the environment, if I recall, for this screen. Am I wrong? I know I did some, but I don't remember how much. But Corey did almost.
I did. Yeah, the environment, and I don't know. There might have been some touch-ups after.
Yeah,
possibly.
exactly.
I can't
Very
recall
minor.
the
Like
whole
I think
process. Yeah.
I remember working on the windows a bit. But other than that, I did the characters on this screen and the big character portraits in the intro, like the character select. But like almost everything else is Corey's amazing work, and he's the lead artist and designer for Metal Mac, and he's designing the bosses for Metro Siege. Which good old Officer Bob, I think you got to experience him recently, Jared.
Yeah.
So Corey designed and did the pixel art for Officer Bob too. So I look forward to once he's less spread thin with all of his Metal Mac duties. We're wrapping up too all the printed stuff for Damon Claw for all the backers that ordered the like deluxe training cards and the art book and posters. We're wrapping that up so that by the time we do our next update video, hopefully we'll be able to say we're in the process of getting them printed. Like we're finalizing the files and putting in the official orders to get all that stuff printed. So that's exciting. And then oh yeah, feel free to plug. And I could see if I could figure out how to make you a moderator too, Jared, so that when you do join us. By the way, did Jared freeze?
I look frozen, but you still hear me, right?
Yeah, your
weird.
camera froze, but yeah, exactly.
But yet on video, I'm totally fine.
Weird.
Yeah,
really weird.
Yep. Let's see if I.
I'm looking up. I'm like, I'm so distinguished.
Like at least freeze on something better, you know?
Right? Yeah.
Do either of you guys know the famous kind of new age classical musician Kataro? Japanese, yeah.
I don't think
very pretty, like new age classical, super relaxing, very nice music, but a specific taste. It's kind of like in the vein of Yanni, but not really. I don't know how to.
Oh
explain
my
it.
goodness, Yanni! I haven't heard that in years.
But yeah,
Right.
but anyway, so Kataro, all of his photos, like he's like a middle-aged, at least back then, Japanese guy with like long hair, and every photo for all of his like CD covers was like him looking up, like I'm so wise, like I'm being so thoughtful, I'm contemplating the
That's
universe.
hilarious. Mike, I think.
Yep.
I don't think it's my camera. I think either the link died because I just shut off my camera and it didn't do anything on OBS. So
okay. Well, let me.
Some
I mean, the only thing I could do is re-grab the same link, unless the link changed somehow.
Oh, I was
with
just
Video
thinking like
Ninja.
you could like if you go into the source, you could probably just like close the source and like reopen because they see me there. Hello.
Yeah. So
Right.
let me check. I'm gonna recopy the link just in
Well,
case.
Corey, it's nice while he's doing that.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. You guys are basically my hero. I try to push you guys all the time on the channel because I love what you guys are doing. I think it's awesome.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Oh, right. I'm doing a two-step thing. I removed the URL and I'm re-adding it to see if that refreshes the camera feed. There we go. That woke it up. There
There
was
we
no
go.
reason
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
no reason it should have started failing, but there we go. You're back. Hopefully it'll stay that way now.
I don't know. Your audience might be like, "Oh God, please shut it off."
No, no.
All right.
They would
So
only do that if I was on cam.
yes, Sep Lemon Amiga. This is Jared. He has a great YouTube channel called. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, let's
Project
see.
COE. Right.
Right, you're
Yeah,
the
I am terrible. I mix up. I kept calling Video Ninja VOD Ninja over and over. Corey and Chris can attest to it. Like that's especially when I am a bit sleep deprived. That's the first thing that goes is like my speech center of my brain, and like I'll just start calling refrigerators toaster ovens and mixing up my letters and yeah. Anyway, Chris has said he's tempted to rejoin. Well, feel free to rejoin, Chris. That's my brother, Chris, the not only programmer of Metal Mac, but he's also helping with all of the projects in different ways. We all wear a lot of hats here. So he's helping with Metro Siege gameplay design and testing. He's going to take over to a large degree the rest of the programming for the PC version of Damon Claw here. Um, and Jared is the only non-Bitbeam canon, the non-Damon Claw team member who actually saw before any other person the second playable character for the PC version. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, he's got special privileges as a big time Bitbeam canon backer and fellow YouTuber. I was chatting with Jared earlier. He was helping me prep for something, and I was like, "Hey, by the way, do you want to see the character?" Like, I had just finished the big character select bust. It's not in the game yet, so it won't work if I press left or right now. But that'll be ready for Chris to program in when he is also. Well, like right now, obviously, Chris and Corey are spending the majority of their time working on getting the Metal Mac demo, which again,
I
Jared
can't wait.
will be one of the first YouTubers to be able to play
Absolutely,
that
yeah.
demo.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I'm going to stream that and die a million times. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. You'll get to hear me swear. It's going to be fantastic. But it looks awesome. It really does. Like Corey, like kudos. Seriously, it looks amazing.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I've upgraded the visuals and sound and like everything about it, gameplay, a lot since the Kickstarter launched. So
Yeah.
For those people still seeing the Kickstarter trailer, like get ready for brand new stuff.
Yep.
There's been a little bit of it shown in clips, but I think people playing it and you, Jared, playing it, I think once people actually get to play a little bit, it's going to be a totally different kind of experience for people. So, yeah, we can't wait.
Oh, and Corey, since I got you here, hopefully I'm allowed to ask you this. You can tell me no. Okay, it's good. I don't want to crash your whole thing here. But I was thinking the other day, I was telling Mike about this. I'm sure you guys talked about this. You don't have to answer me. It's all good. You can tell me. Shut up, Jared. I'm used to it. My wife does that all the time. But I was thinking, I'm like, are you guys going to keep the late pledge Kickstarter open when the demo is out? Because I know, like on my side, I'm gonna have thousands of people that are going to be messaging me after. If it's closed, they're going to be like, where the hell do I get this game? This looks so awesome. Yeah.
Most likely, yes. So, yeah.
So not only most likely yes, but we're not going to shut off the
Yeah, there
pledges on Kickstarter until we have our own store set up for pre-orders.
exactly.
So
So
there won't be a
when
gap.
to
Yeah, yeah.
without getting into any specifics there, like one way or another, like when the demo's out, I mean, we'll have the game available for purchase. Yeah, so far there's not been a date set for ending late pledges. They're still available, so
Okay.
we'll let everyone know and announce if that changes, ahead of time and everything. So
Yeah, it's just because like I've been getting like so many requests because of course just from like just that Kickstarter trailer, right? Like everyone is like, there's never been anything like this on the Neo specifically. Most of my audience is like Neo Geo related.
Right, yeah.
And they're all like kind of freaking out over it. So
oh yeah.
I know that when the demo hits for sure. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be sort of like a gap, right? Where we all, whoever these select YouTubers are, you generate all this interest and then the poor people can't go and actually
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
pre-order.
It'll be available, yeah, for pre-order.
Sweet.
So that shouldn't be a problem.
Did you want to try rejoining, Chris? By the way, it might be a good idea. Like we didn't really test thoroughly people coming and going, and this would definitely be the first time we had 4 people talking simultaneously. So, if you want to try, Chris, just let me know, and I'll keep an eye out. But Chris made a joke that I don't totally
Yeah.
get. Maybe it's a specific for Jared joke.
Yeah, I just
Yep.
I just said, man. I just said that. I was like,
Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
was like, I'm gonna suck so bad that like, and so he's making a joke basically like where Max
Ah,
screams
okay.
in agony for I love it. That's great.
Yeah. Damn, owl escaped. That's gonna be bugging me all night. He hit me, and then I couldn't catch up to him and kill him. That owl told me I have to get good, and it misspelled good.
Good.
Yeah.
So how long you guys been doing your streams? Like not I know this is like your second or third stream, but like how long do you guys keep them going like a couple hours or all day or
Yeah, this one sadly has to be short. When I get into a regular schedule, I plan on streaming for several hours a day. I mean, basically working on Metro Siege is my full-time job now. But right now I'm kind of in that transitionary stage where I need to spend a huge amount of time finishing Damon Claw for Neo Geo with Pixel Heart and making those print goods with Corey's enormous and wonderful help. And then I wanted to get the kinks out of live streaming so that as I'm working on Metro Siege, that people can actually sit in with me on a lot of the work and see and hear about the process, and we can kind of turn it into a bit of a almost like a retro game making tutorial, like live. Sit in like the workshop and see how the sausage is made, so to speak. And so I've been wearing a lot of hats and not sleeping a lot. That's for sure. But in a week or two, or actually a little more than that, I'm going to have tied up a lot of these other outstanding loose ends. And my son is going off to college. He's moving to a nearby city. And so my apartment is going to be mostly me, mostly just me, from then on, other than like school breaks and stuff like that. So I'll be able to get into a very regular schedule, and I hope to start streaming more than twice a week and more than 3 hours at a per stream. But right now, for the last 3 streams, I've been trying to do at least 2 hours. But I think we hit 3 maybe in the previous stream, 3 hours.
Yeah.
But this one I'm gonna end. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna end pretty soon.
you have your guest by the way. Your other guest has arrived.
Chris is back. All right,
He's back. Nice
let
to
me get
see
him
you,
working.
Chris.
Yeah, well, Chris can't be seen or heard, I think, by anyone on Let's see.
No, yeah, not on the stream, not yet. No.
Yeah, I have to add him. So patience, Chris. I will get that working as soon as I can. All right. So there is.
Hey, I stole Chris's spot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
moving you over, and I'm putting Chris where he should be. But right now the link is.
Can you actually hear me?
I can. We can. I can hear you. I think everybody can hear you now.
Yep.
Oh,
Through
neat.
the magic
Yeah, we can
of
hear you.
Video Ninja, but they can't see you.
Well,
yet,
in
but
Video Ninja, my camera's on, but I don't have a box for
Yeah.
like everyone else.
Right. I'm fixing that right now, but it takes a few steps. There we go. So you should show up any second now in your usual top right corner. There you go.
There you go.
Look at that. We're getting everything worked out here. So Chris, my brother Chris, Jared, Chris.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah, you can
hello.
explain what else you've been helping with in Bitbeam Canon Land besides programming MetalMac. I mentioned you were helping to some degree with game design and testing on Metro Siege. Same thing with Damon Claw, and he will be largely helping program the rest of the missing features in Damon Claw, second playable character, and the other gameplay modes.
Yeah, I was just a family guy and a corporate programmer, and then life changes happened, and I decided to finally join Mike in video game development. You know, something that we had thought about doing since we were teenagers. He actually started a career in it, and I had enough of the corporate world, so I figured now was a good time to take the pay cut and just
grind and make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, try to build
Right.
something in a non-corporate area.
So
And
how was it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My earliest contributions were in the later, just before release life of Damon Claw at Mega Drive.
Yeah.
So I was helping look at the Neofid builds and.
That's the Mega Drive version. Yep.
Yep. Design-wise, my earliest contributions was saying, you know, it'd be cool if you could drop kick more than once, and that's where the second drop kick came in.
Yep.
And a few other little things.
Yeah, gameplay
there.
feedback and play testing and helping to come up, I think, eventually with some of the names of things and stuff like that.
Yeah, my contribution to Damon Claw was
Ouch.
fairly minimal.
Well, I was going to ask you, how's it like working with your brother? Dun dun dun.
It's cool.
You hear the hesitation there?
Yeah, exactly. That's a resounding success.
You
They
could
have.
said something
I guess.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke of you have enough distance between you where that you can't.
Yeah, there's no risk of
just-
strangulation.
Right. Yeah, something like that,
Yeah.
like as brothers might do.
Yeah. Nah, we get along very well, and Chris has absolutely fantastic gameplay ideas and ideas for entire games that eventually, hopefully, we'll all be able to make those a reality too someday. Like, his foot is in the door now. The more successful we can make these current games, the more likely that some of those games can come to fruition. And like I was going to say, that I've already said that in the past stream, but it's so true. It remains so true. I keep repeating myself, but it's been so exciting watching Metal Mac develop with little to no input from me, because like it's so great. Corey and I work together so well, and he's able to perfectly work within and adapt to and improve the like art style and what I'm after for games where like I'm in the driver's seat, like Damon Claw and Metro Siege. But his own styles and sensibilities and stuff, it's great because we can work well together, but we're very different. And so for there to be a project now that he's in the driver's seat and it's all his decisions and what he would do, and like I can't get surprised by my own game projects, you know what I mean? Not very much. And even when I come up with something that, I wouldn't have thought I would have come up with that, I'm still coming up with it. It can't be that much of a surprise. And
Right.
like, watching someone of Corey's caliber, like, be in the driver's seat of a project, it's shaping up so beautifully, and it's like there's an incredible charm and humor to like, I have the privilege of seeing some other project that Corey will probably work on in the future too, that I won't get into, but such a charm and humor, you know what I mean, just like built into the art and animations and the worlds he's creating and stuff. And but he could also do badass stuff like this Kraken boss you're seeing in Damon Claw right now, So yeah,
Well, like I
it's
said
really
before,
great.
the work you're all doing, I think, is amazing. It's really amazing. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Kitty Cat is making
Yeah, kitty
their
cat. So I'm going to mute myself before we don't stop hearing him.
oops. Wow, that was pretty cool. I got hit, but my bouncing ball I made from one of the enemies took out the boss for me. I don't know if any of you guys are watching the screen at the time.
Mhm.
I think another contribution I made since I'm early into the game was designing the Kickstarters. I helped not with the Damon
Oh
Club
yeah,
one
the
again. I
text
wasn't part
and
of
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and the idea, some of the ideas, like
Yep,
what the tier should be,
yep. Which is an
and
enormous amount of work. Yeah, Chris has helped a ton with a lot of proofreading and brainstorming.
I contributed to the idea that of the bonus round magazine versus the
Yeah,
art book.
oh, that was your idea. I
Yeah.
mean, the magazine, the name, I think, I don't remember which of us came up with that, but the concept itself was brilliant, and that was Chris's idea. So for Damon Club, we offered an art book, which is pretty standard, but Chris made the great point that basically a magazine along the lines of Nintendo Power, but purely focused on, like, strategy guide magazine, behind the scenes making of articles. That's something a lot of people miss from the good old days of game collecting, and the glory of the 16-bit era. And that doesn't really take much more work, if at all, than an art book, but it's probably has more mass appeal than an art book. And
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
great
that,
Right.
idea.
Well, it's yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I it started as me like kind of not like I was like, well, I don't think an art book for Metal Mac right out of the gate is the right thing, and I want to
yeah,
do
yeah,
some other kind of book, you know.
yeah,
And it kind of evolved into yeah, full sort of a magazine type thing that can have a lot more variety to it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like what I was talking about, like working with other people that are, like, Metal Mac is different from any game I would have made, and fantastic, and that led to the an art book doesn't feel right for Metal Mac, but a strategy
Correct.
guide
Yeah.
magazine is freaking perfect for Metal Mac.
Metal Mac
So
is meant to
yeah,
capture a different kind of gaming experience from
yeah,
long ago. You know, different sort of nostalgic experience. Um, it's definitely a game that isn't as much about like having the deep world and lore like something like the world of Nar might have in
yeah,
Demon Claw, but is meant like I take a little bit of an approach of I like a good game to be a good game first before it's a anything
epic
else, I
world.
suppose.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm sort of designing the game in that way. Yeah, but I mean, there will be, of course, an actual story, and the world may be bigger than you think it is. But that's all
Yeah.
I'll say about
I'm
that.
gonna keep my mouth shut. I know.
Yeah, don't say anything.
But yeah, speaking of like the charm and the stuff I've seen that goes beyond just Metal Mac. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to say anything else. But on that matter, um, but yeah, it's just I had a point going back to the whole thing about Metal Mac and how it's so. Oh yeah. Just it's got built-in humor and irreverence, and that alone,
Right, right,
it
yeah.
can kind of give you more creative freedom because you could just go. This doesn't have to make perfect sense. It's a cartoon universe. It's robots, and it's intentionally spoofing other IPs. So
Mhm.
like you can have fun and then make it kind of fit the world and make sense later. You know what I mean? To whatever degree you want to, and it's just it's shaping up beautifully, and I love watching it. Like that. That's one the only benefit of the fact that I've been so busy. I can only kind of check in on Metal Mac every once in a while, and I'll see them testing a new thing, or I'll see a new animation, or and it just enhancements, and it's just looking amazing. So I look forward to playing it myself. I might actually start ignoring it on purpose. The development, like once it's getting close, you know what I mean?
I'll quit showing you stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that when I actually get the finished game, kind of like Goaty, a great live streamer, um, like he actually doesn't want demos of our games or anything. Like we said there's a
That is
demo of
true.
Metro Siege.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, I want to experience the full complete game with no spoilers. That's just the way he is. But I get it now because of Metal Mac. I'm like, I'm loving what I'm seeing, but I'm loving the surprise aspect, and it
Yeah,
would
I
be
get
good for
that.
me.
I
Yeah.
get that too. But for me, I've always, I mean, this is just personal. I've always been the type where it's like a demo is representative of like what you're going for. But depending, I'm not saying with you guys, but depending on how long the
Ouch.
development cycle is or what have you, sometimes like the game can change from the demo.
Ah.
Like there might be new creatures or new gameplay elements added that the demo doesn't highlight. So I like to experience that because it's like it gives you a sample of what to
Yeah.
expect, but not necessarily a one-to-one of what you will get. And so that's why I've always
Absolutely.
been like, yeah, that's cool.
Yep, and like as Simon proved earlier in the live stream, you can actually, especially as a YouTuber or something, you can actually affect the final game by
Yeah,
giving feedback and making comments and stuff like that. So I was working on some Metro Siege graphics earlier, and
Yeah, that is
Simon
true.
made some points and suggestions, and it's actually going to affect how the that level looks in the finished version of the game. So, but yeah, and like I said, Jared is a YouTuber, and he's already collaborated with us on several videos, and like I said, he's also a backer. So of our projects. So definitely we
yeah, one of those
look
crazy
forward to your
guys.
feedback. Yep.
I
Yeah.
remember
Yep.
thinking about demos. Back in the day, even hardware had demos. The
Hmm,
PlayStation and the Saturn had demo
Oh.
discs.
Hmm.
yeah,
Just to
Remember
show off the
the
abilities.
PlayStation one that had the rotatable Tyrannosaurus
Dinosaur.
Rex
Yeah.
and a
Exactly.
Right,
few
yeah.
games on it?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
I played a lot of
PlayStation
those.
One.
PC games
Yeah.
had them a lot too. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
a disc demo version or whatever.
I was just gonna
Every
joke that
once
the
in a while,
place.
you'll see one on Steam, but it's pretty rare. And early
Hmm,
access
What?
kind of overlaps with it a bit nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm.
But I was just gonna make a silly joke that the PlayStation One couldn't put feathers on the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Didn't have the polygon power.
I guess what
This is
Steven
spoiler, Jared.
Spielberg needed
Yeah.
needed dinosaurs to not have feathers.
Have you
Just
already
kidding.
beaten the Mega Drive version, Jared, of Damon
Yeah,
Crane?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got everything that you guys have put out there. I believe I
Yeah.
have. Well,
Or ordered. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Or pre-ordered.
Yeah, exactly. We appreciate that very much.
I
And
never
we
even
hope.
expected. Honestly, I never even expected to like meet you guys. That was more like when I found out that you had a Metro Siege Discord. If I'm not mistaken, that's
Yep.
how that all started. Because there's so many devs. I used to reach out years ago to indies and other devs. Like when way back in the day when we had a media outlet, and I used to go to E3 every year, get invited to all the big event. Like I was there when they unveiled the PlayStation 1, to give you an idea how long I've been
Nice.
doing this. And it's just, I always found like developers were so shy,
Yep.
like just so shy. They didn't really want to, talk about different. This is way back in the day when I used to write for magazines and stuff. And
Yep.
with YouTube, it's cool. Like it was really cool that, Mike, that you actually interact. Like so few people do that. Like they just want to stay
Yeah.
behind the scenes, which is great. It's okay. You can stay behind the scenes, but you're never
Yeah.
going to get the wide, like the mainstream sort of attention if you don't get out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think we discussed this before, Jared. I don't remember if it was on a video or just in a private chat, but between the two of us. But um, I noticed the same thing, that too many indie devs fall into the camp where either they are shy, so they are too uncomfortable to pursue putting themselves out there on social media, especially on video, which is a huge detriment. It's like it's so much harder to build a fan base and put yourself out there and be found without putting yourself out there. And then people, even when they start to establish themselves and they have a game to sell, like once they're selling a game, there's this like old fashioned instinct to try to class pass and pretend you're like a successful company, and like just have that cold separate, like we'll make social media posts, but they'll feel very much not like a person and like a
Yeah,
corporate press, even though you're like one guy busting your butt to
Mhm.
make your indie game and you're praying someday you'll make a minimum wage on it. Like they're still pretending, you know what I mean?
Mm,
And
mm,
it's
mm,
like
mm.
maybe back in the day that was the thing to do, but that it's completely counterproductive. And I can
Yeah.
understand if like you're a single person, or but I mean an individual person, or super shy or super shy, and you just can't put yourself out there comfortably.
Or
But
if you're just on a stream with Mike and
yeah, you don't get a word in
so-
edge. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, careful what you wish for. I wish we had someone.
Oh, it's an old joke between us, so it's not.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, don't worry. Yeah. We're
Mike, which
not
version
only
of the game did you just finish?
PC. It's widescreen.
That was the PC? Okay.
Yep. But you could tell it's getting really close in parity feature wise of
I
the
guess
Mega
you
Drive
fixed the
version.
issue with the upgrade to
Well, the
construct?
one I fixed
Or
the
did you
one
roll
thing
back?
with Corey live on stream of the
Okay.
the dwarf that kept hopping up and down and
Yeah,
was stuck.
getting caught in
The
the
escape
trap
door.
door. Yeah.
And our best theory was the collision box was not pixel perfect in the grid, so it would like fall into half pixels. And there was a different shaped collision box between its jumping and its idle pose. So I think what was happening is it was swapping between those animations, and it was like getting stuck a half a pixel into the wall, which made it act like it was on the floor, and then so it would jump again and rinse and repeat. So like the only thing we changed was the position of the block that starts solid and then becomes not solid, so the dwarf can escape down the hole. I can actually show you instead of just waving my hands.
No,
I've
I
got
get
the
it.
editor open.
Waving my
But yeah,
hand.
but other people won't don't get it. But so there's this white box here. So that starts solid for the player to be able to walk on, but when he hops back and the thing's blowing up, this loses its solidity. And it was like this for some unknown reason. But that either is solid or not, so that couldn't have caused the dwarf getting stuck once it was totally not solid. But we fixed that anyway. And the only other thing that I tweaked was I noticed the thing about the collision box, and I made that nice and tidy and pixel perfect and identical in both frames. And for whatever reason, that did fix it. Or presumably. Something, maybe it was some kind of voodoo dance or something. Something fixed it. Something fixed it. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the stream tonight. It was great to have you join, and we're getting the whole video ninja, or as I like to call it, VOD ninja, Nicely set up and working, so that's good. The only thing we did not test, if anybody is willing to, is the screen share to see if there's still the echo. But yeah, that's not fixed. I think the only person, Chris, that is using the URL that supposedly has the fix built in, I think, is you, Chris. Oh no, because you left and came back. Do you know if you use the fixed URL?
No.
Okay, then never mind. We'll test that next time. But in our previous stream, we discovered if someone shares their screen, even if you make sure you don't have share audio checked, Video Ninja was sharing audio anyway and causing an echo. So every time I spoke while Corey was sharing his screen, we were getting an echo on my voice.
Interesting.
But anyway, yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna wrap it up. It's getting late here. Two of my kids are here, so I'm gonna shut up and let them sleep. And I'll probably do a little more Metro Siege work. But one thing I did show, just in case you weren't watching at the time, Jared, I'm making really good progress on Mega Drive and Neo Geo emulation wrappers for Steam Deck specifically.
Nice.
So, do you own a Steam Deck as well? I do
I do
specifically for testing.
indeed.
So making really good progress on getting Damon Claw really working perfectly on Steam Deck.
Nice.
So it won't be Proton hotfix anymore to try to get the Windows version working. The Mega Drive, I should be able to do an update probably in the coming week or two. I knock on wood, so that on Steam Deck as well, you'll be able to play this modern version and the Mega Drive version perfectly. Um, and yeah. But anyway, if you want to see more about that, I went into detail a bit on what features the emulation wrappers have earlier in the stream, so you could rewatch that if you want to. Oh,
Sure.
that's
And I,
awesome! Awesome, yeah. Thank you,
yeah,
Corey.
I shared the
Yeah,
link to your channel in the chat.
Oh, thanks. You guys
yeah,
don't need to do that. I'm just here to
yeah.
support you guys. I'm that's all good.
Well,
But
it
thank
goes.
you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
it definitely goes both ways. So the more popular you become because you cover us and you even have me on as a guest sometimes, then that ultimately benefits us as well. Plus, the more money you make, the more you back our
Yeah,
projects.
that's right. Exactly. Well, hey, you got to keep
Right.
keep
Yeah,
making projects so I can back them.
yeah. Well, we've between the three of us, I guarantee you, we have enough projects in our minds like that we want to do to keep us busy into our 70s. I wish I were kidding. So yeah, hopefully we'll make enough money that we could hire other people to make some of those games faster so we can get them all out before we're in our 70s. But
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think you guys are doing a killer job, and I think
thanks.
doing this kind of stuff
Yeah.
really does put you in a whole other league compared to a lot of other developers. Like the fact that you guys are actively going and building your own community. I mean, it's awesome,
Yeah.
guys. It really is.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Cannon. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat as well. That means a lot. These streams are going to get better and better. I'm going to not only once we get all the kinks worked out, once I learn how to do everything, and we have great guests like Jared coming and going, and I plan on making a lot more progress per stream, and there being longer streams where we really get into the deep weeds of retro game creation. Most of what you're going to see on stream is going to be pixel art, but and maybe fixing the occasional random construct bug. But almost certainly next week you're going to see me working on the actual illustrations. For oh, I never got into that, did I? I'll save that for next week. The illustrations for the Damon Claw art book for the first three bosses, we have on the page for that boss, we have like a comic book art style illustration of the boss. So I had already done one for the bird boss a long time ago. So I need to do one for the Ram Man boss and the Kraken. And I just started sketching them in digitally, but I'm going to do them on my drawing table next time, like next week on the actual drawing table, pencil and then ink, just like American comic art, and then color it, and you'll be able to watch me do that. I'll do at least some of that live, and I'll pre-record some of that for videos. But anyway, I will force myself to shut up and go. But thanks, Corey, Chris, and Jared. Thanks everyone for joining and watching. And yeah, we'll keep picking up steam and making more progress and making these streams longer and more frequent and more enjoyable. So thanks, guys. We'll be back again soon. All right,
Yep, see you next time.
all right,
Yeah.
actually, I'll end with the game trailers. Why not? But no one can hear us once I switch to that.
This is Metal Mac, bringing back action-packed run-and-gun gaming to the classic consoles you love. With an original soundtrack by legendary game musicians Chris Hulsbeck and Alistair Brimble. Featuring tons of platforming challenges, combat variety, and special ability upgrades. Back the retro physical editions for your classic console. Upgrade to deluxe editions for extra collectibles, or get them as add-ons. You can also get a Steam Digital Edition, which will let you play both versions of the game. Inspired by your favorite classic games with new surprises. With a wide variety of levels, boss fights, gameplay styles, and plenty yet to be revealed. In the future, humanity's robots have gone rogue, and only our hero Metal Mac can save the day. Back it now, while you can.
This is Metro Siege, bringing true 16-bit beat-em-up action that feels different at its core. Featuring sophisticated combat with blocks, grabs, counterattacks, many ways to hit enemies while they're down, and more. With an atmosphere and aesthetic more closely based on the vigilante movies that inspired the genre. The combat in Metro Siege is designed to keep the player engaged, weighing risk versus reward and adapting to the ever-changing situation. Hold block to defend from weak attacks, but stronger attacks might still do some damage, knock you back, or knock you down. A perfectly timed block, however, will parry and automatically counterattack, doing bonus damage to the enemy. Will you take the extra risk of a perfectly timed block to beat an enemy with style, to get back much needed health in a pinch? Or do you keep your distance, play defensively, and let player 2 handle things? While there are many safe ways to hit enemies while they're down, you could deal extra damage more quickly with a knee drop. But if an enemy moves out of the way, you'll be the one taking damage and be left prone to attacks yourself. Metro Siege is in production for Amiga, Neo Geo, and PC, and we're carefully crafting each version to add differences in gameplay and maximize the visual quality for each platform. To fit the large amount of character animations on the Amiga version, we made each frame from reusable body part images, but for Neo Geo it will all be hand-drawn for maximum quality and fluidity, and everything on screen will use more color and have greater detail and variety. The modern version uses the Neo Geo graphics as a base, but makes it widescreen, adds translucent effects, highly customizable CRT filters, and more. Back Metro Siege now for the system you love, or get the digital version and check out the cool collectibles like the soundtrack CD, deluxe trading cards, or the Bitbeam bonus round strategy guide magazine with behind the scenes and making of articles, interviews, a Metro Siege art gallery, and more. Are you up for the challenge? Back it now, bring a friend.
Try Alex.
Yeah.
Press the button again. Stage 1, ready? Oh yeah, that's a grab attempt.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels pretty good. Okay. All right. This game's good. Game's good.
Damon Claw takes things back to classic fast-action arcade gaming with frantic combat against non-stop swarms of enemies and sophisticated boss fights. After some practice, a player can battle through from the beginning to the gratifying victory over the final boss in a single sitting. Damon Claw offers a classic arcade-style experience. It's not a platformer, and there's no backtracking or grinding, just non-stop combat progression until you reach the final showdown. Mix things up with 3 difficulty settings, a sophisticated scoring system, additional play modes such as survival and boss rush, and a very different second playable character. Mix things up even more with tag team mode, where 1 or 2 players can swap who's playing at any point during the battle to save mankind. Swap in to let the other character or player regain health for a while. Right now, Damon Claw's in early adopter status. It includes the complete Mega Drive version and the currently work-in-progress modern version. And once it's ready, you'll also be able to play the Neo Geo version. Over the course of many frequent updates, Damon Claw's modern and Neo Geo versions will continue to be finished and refined. And speaking of replay value, far beyond just the differences in visuals and audio between these three versions of Damon Claw, the second playable character for each of them will be exclusive to each version, with very different appearances, abilities, and playstyles. Join the battle to save humanity from the varied Zverkin armies and help us make the two unfinished versions of Damon Claw the best they can be with your valued feedback. We really appreciate your support and hope you have a blast.
This is Metal Mac, bringing back action-packed run-and-gun gaming to the classic consoles you love. With an original soundtrack by legendary game musicians Chris Hulsbeck and Alistair Brimble. Featuring tons of platforming challenges, combat variety, and special ability